great design, Tom. You really made it work. But, what's that tree doing on the roof?
How did that happen? Instant transplant.
Come on, I'll give you a lift. Hey, that was a fast cigarette.
There's no taste left to him.
Yeah? Never happens with mine. Here, have one.
Viceroy, huh?
Yeah.
What makes them so different?
Beats me. Viceroy always tastes good. Taste never quits. Hey, we better get a move on before they lock up that parking lot.
Yeah, and I have to boost you over the fence. Hey, you know, this Viceroy does taste good.
Taste never quits.
Viceroy starts with great tobaccos, then adds natural flavor fresheners to make sure the good taste never quits. Viceroy, the good taste never quits.
I'm Dabney Coleman. I'm all over me.
Right on.
Watch me on Mary Tyler Moore.
Hi, Mary.
Bill.
That girl,
Oh, Leon, am I glad to see you.
The Fugitive,
A man named Kimball. He's wanted for murdering his wife.
Cannon,
Want a piece of club sandwich?
No, no thanks.
Naked City.
I want to ask somebody a question.
I'm going to answer your question.
Watch me on Me TV.
You got it.
Memorable entertainment television.
This is an ABC color presentation.
The way I see it, you've got three choices. You can give it all up, you can make us shoot you, or we can let them have at you.
This is a special PodBlast report. Actor Dabney Coleman has died. Good evening. This is Chance Bartels, host of the Nostalgic PodBlast, with you tonight with a special report, a sad report. An actor who means a lot to a lot of people in nostalgia land has passed away at the age of 92, and that would be Dabney Coleman. I wasn't going to go live tonight. I made an announcement. There was no show this week except for my live unboxing on Sunday. But when I saw this breaking news, I just had to put a little PodBlast together for you for an hour or so. I can't talk. This has been a nightmare trying to get started tonight. Usually I'm upbeat. I'm going to try to maintain being upbeat and have some energy for you guys and gals in the audience. But, you know, the man had a long life, but he did so much from television to movies, so many notable roles. We'll talk about him. Most of the roles, if not all of the roles that were significant. And I've got a lot of video. Hopefully the stream won't go down on the YouTube side or the Facebook Live side. But we're also on Twitter Live and on Twitch Live. And any game show people, my wonderful fellow game show fans, we'll get back to that this coming Friday without fail, May 24th. And we're going to talk about the lost game show legends. But tonight is just a little remembrance of Dabney Coleman. And there's some really funny clips, some shocking clips that I've put together for you all. And I hope you enjoy them. And I'll get to the chat in just a moment. But here's a piece I wrote on his 92nd birthday earlier this year in the Nostalgic PodBlast Facebook group. I just want to read this really quickly. It's just a paragraph. Still with us, or at the time was with us, at age 92 is actor Dabney Coleman. Whether playing a comedic role or a serious one, Dabney Coleman always delivered a great performance. Coleman once hosted Saturday Night Live on Halloween night, 1987, with musical guests The Cars. Dabney Coleman was born on Sunday, January 3rd, 1932 in Austin, Texas. His middle name is Wharton, Wharton. Of course, Dabney Coleman starred in the hit movies 9 to 5, the not so successful Modern Problems, which is a hilarious movie I have a lot of clips from tonight. He also starred in the critically acclaimed and Oscar-winning movie Tootsie, which had an all-star cast. Jessica Lange was in it, and Terry Garr, and of course Dustin Hoffman as the title role of Tootsie, which I think Mrs. Doubtfire owes a lot to, starring the great late Robin Williams. But Dabney Coleman was also in a wonderful movie that starred Matthew Broderick and Ali Sheedy, War Games. He had a co-starring role in that film the same year that Tootsie was released. No. Tootsie was released in 82. War Games was in 83. That's right. He also starred in a really cool movie, Cloak and Dagger, with Henry Thomas, the star of E.T. It was like his follow-up movie. And I really liked Dabney Coleman in that picture. And here's one you may not have seen. There was a big screen version of the Beverly Hillbillies released by 20th Century Fox in 1993. Excuse me. And Dabney Coleman played Mr. Drysdale, the banker. He was hilarious in that, and he was reunited with Lily Tomlin, whom, of course, he starred with 13 years before that in 9 to 5, along with Jane Fonda and Dolly Parton. That's probably his best-known role, is as the male chauvinist pig boss in 9 to 5. But on television years before 9 to 5, Dabney Coleman acted in shows like The Fugitive, as you saw in the MeTV spot that I played at the beginning of this remembrance of the late, great Dabney Coleman. He also guest starred twice in The Invaders. He was in the original Outer Limits show a few times, the black and white Outer Limits. He was in Boardwalk Empire more recently. And then before that, in the 80s, he starred in a hilarious show, an underrated show called Buffalo Bill. Now, in 1987, Dabney Coleman won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Performance in a Miniseries or Movie for his role in Sworn to Silence. In 1988, Dabney Coleman won a Best Actor Golden Globe Award in a television series, musical, or comedy for the Slap Maxwell Story. Just here's some more information I did not write that I want to talk about in terms of Dabney Coleman, and then we'll get to some clips and some funny interviews, such as the great Johnny Carson interviewing Dabney Coleman. But before we get to that, let's just mention that Dabney also was in, I didn't mention this yet, on Golden Pond, a movie I really liked with Henry Fonda and his daughter Jane Fonda. And Dabney played Jane Fonda's boyfriend, fiance. And that was a really good movie. And Katharine Hepburn was in it. I always liked that movie a lot. He was also in The Muppets Take Manhattan, released in 1984. He was in You've Got Mail in 1998. Just really had a prolific acting career. The live action version of Inspector Gadget in 1999. Rules Don't Apply in 2016. Moonlight Mile in 2002. Recess, School's Out in 2001. But Dabney Coleman's television roles included the title character of Buffalo Bill, whom I already mentioned, from 83 to 84, and then it was brought back. And then the Slap Maxwell Story from 87 to 88. And he was also in The Guardian from 2001 to 2004. He was the voice of Principal Peter Prickly on Recess from 1997 to 2001. And in he was like I said, in Boardwalk Empire from 2010 to 2011, and he won 1 Primetime Emmy Award from 6 nominations and 1 Golden Globe Award after being nominated 3 times. Dabney Coleman's roles were in over 60 films, and television credits. He trained with Sanford Meisner of the Meisner acting technique, where you tap into a deep-seated memory to draw emotion in your performance. And he studied with Sanford Meisner at the Neighborhood Playhouse School of Theater in New York City from 1958 to 1960. Dabney Coleman made his Broadway debut in the short-lived A Call on Cuprin in 1961, and that's with a K, Cuprin. In a 1964 episode of Kraft Suspense Theater titled The Threatening Eye, Dabney Coleman played private investigator William Gunther. Now, the first thing he did in terms of a credited role on TV was on a show called The Naked City. And no, that wasn't an R-rated teen sex comedy. It was a police show. It was an anthology show. And he guest starred. He played a role of resident in an episode in season 2 of that program, episode 12, season 2, Landscape with Dead Figures from 1961. That was the first credited role of Dabney Coleman. And then he did the Armstrong Circle Theater in 1962, 3 episodes of that. Alcoa Premiere in 63, Ben Casey in 63. That was the more masculine of the doctor shows. You had Dr. Kildare and Ben Casey in the early 1960s and mid 1960s. And Ben Casey was more of a man's man. And then he also acted, Dabney Coleman did in Breaking Point in 1963, Arrest and Trial in 63. I got some pictures I'm going to show you in just a second. The Movie Maker in 1964, playing Stanley Rivkin. He was in Kraft Suspense Theater in 1964 a couple of times. He also was in Dr. Kildare, that other medical drama of the early 60s I just talked about, in one episode. He played Dr. David Kirkson. Now, he was in the Alfred Hitchcock Hour twice, in season 1 in Dear Uncle George. That was season 1, episode 30. And then in season 2, episode 31, titled Isabel. And that airs on MeTV every Sunday morning at 1 a.m. right before The Fugitive. The 1-hour Alfred Hitchcock Hour, which only lasted 3 seasons. The half-hour show lasted many more years, and it preceded the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. But then he did The Outer Limits after his second and final guest acting stint on the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. He went into The Outer Limits for the first time in Specimen Unknown. And he also was in The Mice before that. In production order, though, I go by production order. Specimen Unknown was produced before The Mice was. Both were in season 1 of the original Outer Limits. And then in season 2, he was in episode 8 of season 2, Wolf 359 in 1964. I'm going to show you a picture from the Outer Limits, and I will get to the comments in just a second. Here we go. And I can't play a clip because this is now owned by Amazon. Amazon bought the MGM UA library of television shows and films up to a certain point in time, including The Outer Limits, and they're very protective of their material. But you can find The Outer Limits, I think, on Prime and on Freevee, if I'm not mistaken. But there might be a surcharge, or on Pluto TV. Check your local streaming listings. But there's a picture of a young Dabney Coleman without his noted facial hair, without his classic mustache, years before that, filmed in 1963. And I want to say this was the 9th episode in production order, Specimen Unknown. I'm going to get my book on that when I roll a clip to confirm that. But see the plant? Here's a tie into Star Trek. That little prop plant was later used in Star Trek Season 1 in an episode called This Side of Paradise, with the space spores that infected a colony from Earth and infected Mr. Spock, where he had emotion and he got to make love to Jill Ireland's character, by the way, who was Charles Bronson's wife. And she was married, Jill Ireland, to David McCallum before Charles Bronson, who was one of the stars of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. who played Ilya, the Russian. Little heartthrob character there. But I digress. So there's the little plant prop. That's a miniature, and they had a full-size version like you saw in Star Trek. And they recycled, I've talked about this before when I talked about the Outer Limits in Star Trek. A lot of the themes and props and even the crew were recycled. Once the Outer Limits ended, they got a job on the original Star Trek. Here's another shot of Dabney Coleman in that same episode. He becomes a victim of that space spore. deadly space spore, and he's in a space shuttle, and he unwittingly brings it aboard his craft and brings it to Earth. And these things multiply anytime, there's a dry atmosphere. They just grow like weeds, opposite of real weeds that need moisture. The twist is, I'll go ahead and spoil the ending. Rain ironically kills the spores in Specimen Unknown. But there he is there. And then he also did an episode of The Invaders, a couple episodes, in fact. He played a human in this episode in the United States Air Force in season 1's episode titled The Innocent. And then he returned this very next season in a different role in The Saucer. He played a guy who lived with his cat, and he was kind of like the town weirdo. But he saw one of the alien spaceships land. He took photos of it. He had photographic evidence that he wants to give to David Vincent in The Saucer, the second aired episode of season 2, one of my favorite episodes. Anne Francis is in that episode as well, who, of course, was in Forbidden Planet in the 50s, and Honey West. Okay, so now back to what I'd prepared, and we'll get to the chat in just a second. So Outer Limits, he did Bob Hope Presents, the Chrysler Theater, 2 episodes between 64 and 65. Hazel, of all shows, in 65, 1 episode of that show. The Donna Reed Show in 1965. He's also all over Antenna TV, not just Me TV, because Antenna TV plays Hazel in some of the shows I'm mentioning right now. He was in a show called The Slender Thread in 1965. He was in 12 O'Clock High, our friend Al Hardy's favorite show, twice. He was in the season 1 episode titled Here's to Courageous Cowards, season 1, episode 11. And then in season 2, episode 20, titled The Outsider, he made an appearance. And those were 2 black and white seasons. 12 O'Clock High lasted for 3 years. And the 3rd season was in full color in the 66-67 season. And the star of 12 O'Clock High, Robert Lansing, was fired after season 1. He was very popular, but supposedly he was very difficult to get along with. And he got the boot, just like Pinky, the Fonz's girlfriend, and towards, by the middle of season 5 of Happy Days, her debut season, she was gone off that show. And I never liked her looks, Roz Kelly, or the character. That's just me. She probably wouldn't like my looks either. So he acted in This Property is Condemned as a salesman, but his scenes were deleted from that production, and that was back in 1966. I saw him, of course, you saw a little clip of him in The Fugitive. He was in 4 episodes of The Fugitive. He was in World's End with Suzanne Plachette in season 2. And he also was in one of my favorite episodes, The Nicest Fella You'd Ever Want to Meet with a Sadistic Sheriff, played by Pat Hingle, an actor who you may know, younger people, as Commissioner Gordon in the Tim Burton first couple of Batman movies, the early Batman movies. And I think he was wasn't he also Commissioner Gordon with Val Kilmer? Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone out there will know. But Nicest Fella You Ever Want to Meet, that's with the Sadistic Sheriff. And Tom Skerritt from the original Top Gun and many other roles, he got murdered by the sheriff, run down in cold blood, and you see him get run over and his body goes over the cliff. It's a really bloody scene, but you could tell it's a dummy in the effect where you see Tom Skerritt's body go over the cliff. But Dabney Coleman played a good guy, a deputy, who starts to realize something's not right with the sheriff. And Pat Hingle, real life, he was missing a finger, just like James Doohan in Star Trek Scotty. He had lost fingers being a war hero during World War II with the Canadian Army. He was a victim of friendly fire. Well, Pat Hingle fell down an elevator shaft and had some fingers severed. And they used that in The Invaders. He played an alien in the season 2 episode of The Invaders titled The Prophet, where he's an alien, and the aliens will need to be regenerated because our atmosphere is deadly to them. So they have to regenerate because oxygen can kill them. And so they go in these chambers, and just before they're about to require regeneration, because they'll die, they burn up and disappear. They become ash. Like if they're shot, if their little protective regeneration membrane is pierced by anything like a rattlesnake or a bullet, they just burn up and disappear. But also they start to glow when they need regeneration. So this guy, played by Pat Hingle in The Prophet, I know I'm digressing past Dabney Coleman, he uses that to trick people into thinking he's like sent down from Jesus. you know, and he starts to glow at the end of the sermon, and the aliens have like a regeneration tube on the back of a truck, on the back of a semi, ready to go. So when he's walking out glowing, like all these like people are just amazed and they think he's like an angel, and he totally brainwashes these people. But my point about his finger was he doesn't hide his missing fingers in that episode. You know, he's like, I am chosen, and he's showing his hands, and then he goes, I'm show you this heavenly host, and then he glows and the music kicks in. It's a great little scene before the opening credits of the Invaders. But back to Dabney Coleman. I really went off there. He was in the season 3 episode titled Coralie, which was filmed early on in season 3 of The Fugitive, but they aired it as the very last season finale that year, even though it was produced really early on in that season with Antoinette Bauer. And then he was in a color episode, his final appearance in The Fugitive, 4th and final, season 4, episode 9, Approach with Care, which had Denny Miller, who had been in Gilligan's Island. Look him up. You'd know this guy. He was like a strong man. He was someone that was discovered like working on a dock. I met him. He was in The Incredible Hulk a couple of times. You'd know this guy, Gilligan's Island. And he played a mentally challenged guy in that Fugitive episode who doesn't know his own strength. He's playing football with like middle school kids, and he's like in his 20s, and he doesn't know his own strength. And he's just causing all sorts of havoc inadvertently. And then Dabney Coleman in 1966 acted in Please Don't Eat the Daisies. He was in Sidekicks, a TV movie in 66. I'm not going to go through the whole list because it's kind of boring, I guess, but I want to really be thorough here. He acted in Run for Your Life, which is a ripoff of The Fugitive in 1967. He played Fred Palmer in an episode 2, season 2, episode 22. And he also was in That Girl in 8 episodes of That Girl. And, you know, I never liked that show. You know, don't shoot the messenger. That's just my opinion. And you're entitled to your opinion. I did not care for that show. I like Ted Bessel a lot. And I like Marlo Thomas. that just wasn't for me. But he was in 8 episodes, and he played Dr. Leon Bessemer, starting way back with season 1, episode 3 of That Girl. And then he was in season 1, episode 8, season 1, episode 10, season 1, episode 11, season 1, episode 14, and season 1, episode 22, season 1, episode 27, season 1, episode 28. So he never made it out of the first season of That Girl. That Girl lasted a long time. It was a popular show. Now, he was in I Dream of Jeannie a couple times, most notably in The Mod Party. I have that on 16 millimeter reel-to-reel film. It was the last episode of season 2, the first color season. And he just plays a guy on the Air Force Base with Tony, who wants to go to a party. He's wants to party with the guys and have a mod party, like a singles party with a lot of young ladies. But he also was in season 1 before that, and season 1, episode 7 of I Dream of Jeannie, a black and white season in an episode titled Anybody Here Seen Jeannie? He acted in The Flying Nun in just 1 episode in 1967. Dabney Coleman did. In The Pilot, of all things, he played a submarine captain in The Flying Nun pilot. And I told you already about the 2 Invaders episodes he was in, which both aired in 1967, season 1 and season 2 episode, The Innocent and the Saucer. He was in Dundee and the Culhane in 1 episode, playing Sheriff Wren in 1967, Iron Horse, playing Lee Archer. That's a TV show, Iron Horse. He was in The Scalp Hunters, playing Jed in 1968. He was in Judd for the Defense in 1968, playing Walter Sims. Death Valley Days, playing Calvin H. Higbee in 1968. He was in The Mod Squad, playing John in 1 episode. Season 1, episode 12, The Guru. And that was one of the first big hits for Aaron Spelling and Goldberg, his partner at the time. Leonard Goldberg, man, what a great team they were. The Trouble with Girls, he played Harrison Wilby in 1969 in that show. And he was in Bright Promise, playing Dr. Tracy Graham from 1971 to 1972. This will get us to 9 to 5, and I got some clips to show. There was a show called Then Came Bronson. A lot of older people might remember that show. It was kind of like trying to capture the vibe of like the counterculture movies of the time, you know, the motorcycle movies, like the Man, hang on a second. What was that damn movie? I know it. Not The Trip. Well, The Trip is one of those counterculture movies, but what's the movie with Peter Fonda? Let me look in chat. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's a classic. The guys on the motorbikes. Let me look at all the comments really quick. Let me address some comments really quickly. Let me see here. I want to say hi to Ricky's Radio. He has a really cool channel. He goes live typically after he gets off of work, and he just shoots the breeze on YouTube. That's Ricky's Radio. What the hell was that movie? Let me look it up. They got killed at the end. Spoiler alert. Losing my voice. Big counterculture movie. Man, Peter Fonda. And my D doesn't work. Hang on, let me switch my camera shot. Peter Fonda. This will tell me what. Peter Fonda. What was that damn movie called? Not The Outsiders. That was an 80s movie. Had like a one-name title. Easy Rider. No, two words. Easy Rider. Yeah. So Then Came Bronson was kind of like the TV answer to Easy Rider in a way, where this guy just gives up his job and wants to just be free. And so Dabney Coleman played Dr. Ron Carlisle in one episode of Then Came Bronson, which is kind of a cult television show. Season 1, episode 4, The Circle of Time. He played Mayo in something called Downhill Racer in 1969. He was in Bonanza a couple times, playing two different roles between 1968 and 1969. He was in The Brotherhood of the Bell, a TV movie, in 1970. He played Agent Shepard. All right, we're 10 years away from 9 to 5. He was in Dan August, which was a really great Quinn Martin show, which starred Burt Reynolds and, of all people, Norman Fell, Mr. Roper, the future Mr. Roper, 7 years later. He played a detective in the show. He was a dramatic actor before he did the comedy in Three's Company and the spinoff The Ropers. But Dan August was a cool show. Let's see what episode. Yeah, he was in season 1, episode 4 of Dan August, titled The King is Dead. That's Dabney Coleman, whom Quinn Martin used a lot. That was one of Quinn Martin, the producer's tools of the trade. If he found an actor he liked, he used them again and again and again in a lot of different shows. Let me just change my camera shot here. So, let me just look at the list of credits. He was in I Love My Wife, playing Frank Donnelly in 1970. He also acted in a show called Nanny and the Professor in one episode in 1970. Let's see what episode that was. That was... It doesn't say. Episode guide. Well, the hell with it. I can't stop the show looking that up. But he was in Nanny and the Professor, Dabney Coleman. And I'm going to play you wild clips from Columbo, a Columbo movie he did, Dabney Coleman. But it was one of the ones that ABC did. The show originally aired on television and was canceled in 1978. And then it was brought back 10 years later by ABC TV, starting in 1988, and Dabney Coleman guest starred in 1989. Oh, Sarah's texting me Easy Rider. Yeah, I know it. I can't believe that slipped my mind. Unbelievable. I knew it, but it just would not come out of my mouth. Hold the jokes. Okay, so let's see. Nanny the Professor, playing Detective Robinson. He was in The Bold Ones, The New Doctors, playing Dr. Goldstone in 1972. He was an Owen Marshall, Counselor at Law in 1972, playing Frank Wellman. He was in a show called Banyan, playing Ralph Hubbard in 1972. Let me hurry along here. Oh, he was in a show I really like a lot, Room 222. Only seasons 1 and 2 were released on DVD back in like 2011. I wish they'd release all 5 seasons. Mark Hamill was in season 5. You had all these great actors, Cindy Williams, long before Laverne and Shirley, and before her nose job, and before she was a movie star. I mean, she really started the movies with American Graffiti and The Conversation, which had Harrison Ford in it, and Gene Hackman. That was a really good dramatic movie, The Conversation, A Study in Paranoia. I studied that movie in film class. It was one of the movies we studied, of about a dozen movies we analyzed. So that was in college. Let me see what episodes of the Room 222 he was in. Okay, so one of his appearances is available on DVD because it's a season 2 episode. Season 2, episode 5, titled Choose One, and they lived happily / unhappily ever after from 1970. And then he was in season 4, episode 16, Rights of Others. And Room 222 is a show set in a school. I always like I liked shows rather set in schools like Boston Public, not to be confused with Boston Legal, which came along a few years after Boston Public, also by David E. Kelly, the husband of Michelle Pfeiffer. But Room 222 was the original of like the schoolroom dramedies. You know, it had comedy and drama. And in the first season, Room 222 had a laugh track. And fortunately, they got rid of that stupid laugh track after season 1. Made it a better show. But I just loved that damn show. It was really good. And I liked Karen Valentine. She was really cute. She played Alice, like the student teacher in season 1. She eventually became a full-fledged teacher in that show. Dabney Coleman also acted in Ironside in 1973, which starred, it was in season 6, episode 16, titled The Caller. Raymond Burr, of course, Ironside, formerly Perry Mason. Dabney Coleman acted in The Search, playing Elliot Desmond in 1973 in season 1, episode 22, titled Suffer, My Child. And then Dabney Coleman was in a show called Savage, playing Ted Sellingson in 1973. He was in The Wide World of Mystery for an acting spin in 1973. And then also in 73, he was in Dying Room Only, playing Bob Mitchell. Dabney Coleman also played Captain Walker Jones in a TV movie titled Egan in 1973. He was in an episode of a show called Griff in 1973, playing George Bates. Season 1, episode 3, All the Lonely People. It's the title of that episode. Then Dabney Coleman acted in a show called The President's Plane is Missing, which was a television movie, playing Senator Bart Haynes in 1973. Also in 73, in a show called Cinderella Liberty, he played the executive officer. He was in a TV movie called House of Evil in 1974. He was in a Kojak episode in 1974, season 1, episode 21, Therapy and Dynamite, where he played Alex Linden. Let's see if he did any more comedy. I mean, these are all like serious dramas. He was in Quinn Martin's The FBI in 7 episodes between 1965 and 1974, playing various roles. He was in 2 episodes of season 1 of The FBI, season 1, episode 4, season 1, episode 15. Season 1, episode 4, titled Slow March Up a Steep Hill. And then season 1, episode 15, titled The Hijackers. And then he also was in season 2, episode 20 of The FBI, an episode titled The Conspirators. And then he jumped to season 5. He didn't appear in 3 and 4 of The FBI, but he returned in season 5. And the season 5, episode 7, episode titled Flight, from 1969. And then in season 6 of The FBI, and that is streaming, I think, on Tubi TV. The FBI, the entire series is streaming for free. But The FBI, a Quinn Martin production, season 6, episode 13, titled Incident in the Desert from 1970, contained a guest appearance by Dabney Coleman. And then he was in season 7, episode 9, The Game of Terror in 71. And then he was in season 9 of The FBI, episode 23, titled Survival, playing Barnes in 1974. And also in 74, Dabney Coleman acted as Charles Huntley in a show called The Dove. He played Mr. Wood in Bad Ronald in 1974. In Sons and Daughters, he acted in one episode, season 1, episode 8, titled The Invitation. He was in a show titled The Manhunter, also in 1974, playing Sheriff Stigman. So he played a cop a lot, many times, going back to The Fugitive in 1964. And nicest fella you ever want to meet. Let's see. He was in The Manhunter, season 1, episode 13, titled AWOL, To Kill. AWOL, To Kill. Oh, and then he also acted in a great movie directed. Would Irwin Allen direct this? I made this mistake before. The Towering Inferno. I think Irwin Allen did direct that. It was the Poseidon Adventure that I've said Irwin Allen directed. You know, he did have a hand in there in the making of The Towering Inferno that Sarah, my flock, and I watched on the New Year's Eve 2023 into 2024 PodBlast. We played a nice little like making of piece because that movie's set on New Year's Eve on a ship that capsizes. And the survivors have to get to the bottom of the ship because the ship is upside down to be rescued. But Irwin Allen did direct The Towering Inferno, and Dabney Coleman played Deputy Chief Number 1 in that film. And let's see, he was in a TV movie, Love Is Not Forever, playing Jerry Michaels in 1974. He was in 3 episodes of Mannix between 1972 and 1975. Let's see, he was in season 6, and that runs at 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. on MeTV, Mannix, and it's streaming also. He was in season 6 twice. He was in season 6, episode 5 of Mannix, titled Portrait of a Hero in 1972, as Ralph Stoner. Well, he was also in season 6, episode 12 as Stoner in an episode titled Lost Sunday. It says credit only, so that could have been a flashback scene from Portrait of a Hero. Does that make sense? And then in season 8, the final season of Mannix, he played Howard Graham in A Ransom for Yesterday in 1975, season 8, episode 17 of Mannix. So we're getting close, within 5-year range of 9 to 5, and then we'll get to the clips and the pictures and the fun. I know this is very boring, but I've got to give justice to this guy. He was one of my favorite actors of all time. And he was a Southern guy. At least he was a Texan. So I'm going to play a clip of this. He played a racist cop in something called Black Fist. He played Heineken, like the beer, in 1975. I'll go ahead and play a clip now to break up the monotony of my little long-ass monologue bio of the late, great Dabney Coleman. Let me play a clip of that Black Fist. He doesn't say the N-word, but he's very offensive. Okay, like he says, set your blank ass down, and it's really brief. I'm going to play a clip of this just for historical purposes, because I don't think anyone else is going to play this. But it would help if I got to my videos now, wouldn't it? And I'll address the comments. Jerry Dobson's probably watching. Nostalgia World turns 12 tomorrow, I think. Happy anniversary to that Nostalgia Facebook group. Let me find this. It's right here. Black Fist. Now, it's only 57 seconds long, but there's some really harsh dialogue by Dad. It's acting. It was a gig. He's not a racist, but his character was. And you'll notice the actor he's very mean to, who later, like that very year, was one of the stars of Welcome Back, Kotter. Let's watch.
Wait a minute, look, I'm not a Peckerwood, man. Why don't you tell me why every damn time when you Swade sees a police officer, you think he's after something? Now, me, I like to see a good street fight, especially when it's between a couple of real good colored boys. All right, look, I'm going on back in. Wait your black ass out here a couple of minutes and then come in. I don't want people seeing us together too much, all right? They may think you're paying off the man or something. You just sit your black ass down. You know, if I was a real sour I could take your ass in right now. You know that?
White trash.
White trash? They don't say white trash anymore.
So he got his, so that was good. When that lady called him white, Trash. All right, so let me get back to some other stuff here. Let me change my camera shot too. And get back to his list of credits, and we'll get to 9 to 5 and the more notable and memorable roles of the late great Dabney Coleman. So that was Black Fist. I played a clip of from 1975. Then he was also in Attack on Terror, the FBI versus the Ku Klux Klan in 1975, playing Paul Matheson. He also acted in Medical Center. I love the season 2 through the rest of the show's theme. There was a different theme in season 1 of Medical Center by Lalo Schifrin, who did the Mission Impossible theme. Great theme, but he was in one episode in 1975 of Medical Center in season 6, episode 22, titled Aftershock. Chad Everett starred in Medical Center. He also acted in, talking about Dabney Coleman, who just passed away, in Bite the Bullet, playing Jack Parker in 1975. And he was a busy guy in 74 and 75 before he jumped to the big screen in 9 to 5, and the rest is history in a good way for him. Let's see. He played Donald Coughlin in Caribbean in 1975. He was in A TV movie called Returning Home as Al Stevenson in 1975. Dabney Coleman was in The Other Side of the Mountain as Dave McCoy, also in 75. And then he also was in a show called Macmillan and Wife a couple of times, playing two different characters, Walter Jennings and Hanson. He was in season 3 of Macmillan and Wife, season 3, episode 6, titled Cross and Double Cross. And then he also was in season 5. It's like I'm dyslexic all of a sudden. Season 5, episode 3, titled Aftershock. That's the one where he played Walter Jennings. Let's see. And then he was also in a show called Medical Story, not Medical Center, Medical Story in 1976, playing Blair. He was in the Mary Tyler Moore Show playing Congressman Phil Whitman in 1976 in season 6, episode 17. That was at the very end of the run of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. And then he guest starred again for Quinn Martin in Cannon, which starred one of the greatest actors who started in radio as the original Marshal Matt Dillon in the radio version of Gunsmoke. William Conrad starred as Cannon, the portly detective. So Dabney Coleman guest starred in season 3, episode 9 of Cannon, titled Deadly Lady's Tears, playing Lieutenant Daggett. Oh, like the Battlestar Galactica mechanical pet for Boxy, but not spelled that same way. And then also on Cannon, season 5, he returned playing a different character, Jack Sheffield, in season 5, episode 17, The House of Cards. I'm going to talk about an episode he did of Barnaby Jones that I really like, because he got to act opposite a really hot number actress who played a young lady that was hitting on him for his money. And he was a good guy in that episode. Lee Purcell was in a bikini a lot. She's trying to seduce him and stuff. And it was a really good episode of Quinn Martin's Barnaby Jones, which also airs on MeTV in the wee hours of the morning at 4 a.m. and has for some time now. Dabney Coleman acted in a show called Switch, season 1, episode 18, titled One of Our Zeppelins is Missing, back in 1976. Surprised he wasn't on Wonder Woman, but I don't think he was. I know he wasn't, actually. Come on, 9 to 5. I'm tired of talking. And I bet you're tired of listening. Let's see. He was in a show called Burt D'Angelo Superstar. He played Lee Crawford in 1976. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. He was in season 1, episode 4 of that program, titled The Brown Horse Connection. This is a cool title. Never heard of this TV movie. Kiss Me, Kill Me, playing Captain Logan in 1976. Dabney Coleman also acted as Captain Murr Arnold in Midway in 1976. And he was in The Streets of San Francisco for Quinn Martin Productions between 1974 and 1976, in 2 episodes playing 2 different characters. He first played Andrew Horvath Sr., and then he played George Todd. He was in The Streets of San Francisco, season 3, episode 7, titled tonight's episode, Jacob's Boy. And then he was in season 5 of The Streets of San Francisco, season 5, episode 4, titled tonight's episode. Let me do my Dick Wesson voice. That was the announcer. Like Wesson Oil. I can't do it. Tonight's episode, The Drop. 1976. Let's see. What else? Police Story. Not Police Woman. Too bad he didn't get to act with Angie Dickinson in Police Woman. He was in Police Story 2 times, playing Captain Stromwall and then Lieutenant Cruz. 2 different characters, 2 different episodes. He was in season 3, episode 20 of Police Story, and then season 4, episode 5 of Police Story. Petrocelli, a detective show Susan Howard was a co-star in, who later played Donna in Dallas, and she was a Klingon before Petrocelli in Day of the Dove, season 3 of the original Star Trek. Chekhov had eyes for her. Let's see. Petrocelli, it doesn't say the episode title. Petrocelli. That was not the best show. Although a show I do like, The Fall Guy, brought back the star of Petrocelli and William Conrad as himself from Cannon, and Mike Connors as himself from Mannix. They did a nice episode in season 4 of that show where they brought back these TV detectives, and supposedly Colt was trying to reunite them, and they were all come together writing a pilot script where they would all star in it together. And that one introduced Howie's dad. Private Eyes is that episode. Hopefully it'll run on Heroes and Icons. I think Heroes and Icons is going to get the entire series of Fall Guy for the first time since 1997. I'm not going to mention this man's name. Someone who's a member of the Nostalgic PodBlast Facebook group, works in digital conversion professionally. And he told me about 2 years ago, we just got a stack of Fall Guys, and he thought that meant they were going to start streaming or be released on home video. Turns out it was for these airings on Heroes and Icons. Airs Sundays at noon, Fall Guy does. 4 episodes back to back, a little mini binge, mini marathon starting at noon every Thursday. And hopefully the ratings will be good, and they'll at least cycle a couple times through the entire run, because it's not a bad show. I mean, some episodes are better than others of Fall Guy. It is what it is. It's action. It's never boring. And there's some episodes that are actually deep, believe it or not, but most of them are pretty superficial. But there's lots of sex appeal. There's Marquee Post. There's, the writing is not great, but sometimes actually Nick Thiel, who was a writer for season 1 of Fall Guy, is one of the better writers. He left after season 1. It's too bad. He'd written for 8 is Enough and other shows around that time. He's a really good writer. He wrote some of the best episodes. I think season 1 had some really good scripts, and season 2 of Fall Guy, but I digress. Almost done with this list. Dabney Coleman also acted in Viva Knievel, like Evil Knievel. Viva Knievel as Ralph Thompson in 1977. And he also acted in 148 episodes of a great show. I have it on DVD of what they released. Mary Hartman, which was part of the Norman Lear empire of shows. It was in syndication because the networks passed on it. It was very controversial. It might take too long to dig out the DVD. I like to have a visual aid when I can, but I can't right now. I don't know why I'm talking like a hillbilly. But he played Merle Jeter in Mary Hartman between 76 and 77 for 148 episodes. And that was a parody of soap operas, Mary Hartman. He also acted in Fernwood Tonight, playing the same character. This time he was promoted to mayor. Mayor Merle Jeter in 2 episodes of Fernwood Tonight, which was a spinoff of Mary Hartman. That's a funny show. Martin Mull and Fred Willard. Really, really funny show. Nick at Night aired that back in the late 80s. Fernwood Tonight. Look it up, kids. It was really funny. I'm sure there's some clips on YouTube. He was in the pilot of Fernwood Tonight, season 1, episode 1, Talk to a Jew in 1977, playing the mayor. And then he also was in season 1, episode 33 of Fernwood Tonight. Episode is titled The Fitness Twins. There you go. So, and then in Quincy, 2 episodes of Quincy, which starred Jack Klugman. I need to breathe. Dabney Coleman played Officer Peter O'Neill and Dr. Bert Travers in 2 different episodes. Let's see what seasons those were. Seasons, it doesn't say. Some bitch. It doesn't say. I'm trying to give you the complete picture of Dabney Coleman tonight. I mean, I'm probably being a little too thorough, but I don't care. I mean, I care. I don't care, but I care. I want to do this right. I don't want to just have some clickbait crap. Like you'll see, like you'll have like somebody's voice. It's like an AI voice reading a Wikipedia page. I hate that. And they might have some good pictures in there, but it's generally not worth your time. But a lot of people watch that garbage. Oh, well. After Quincy, Dabney Coleman acted on television in a show called Rolling Thunder, playing Maxwell in 77. Then he was in The Other Side of the Mountain Part 2, playing Dave McCoy in 78. He was in 130 episodes of Forever Fernwood, playing Merle Jeter again, the same character. So he got a lot of work from that Norman Lear production, starting with Mary Hartman and then Fernwood Tonight and then Forever Fernwood. I guess Forever Fernwood's like the Mayberry RFD of that franchise, kind of like, with the Andrew Griffith Show. After first Don Knotts left, when the show went to color, basically, after he made a few token appearances, and then he was gone altogether, and then Andy left, and then what'd you have? Mayberry RFD with just the secondary players and characters. Dabney Coleman also was in Man-Eaters Are Loose, playing McCollum, which is a TV movie. Wasn't very good. He played a helicopter pilot in an uncredited role in something called Go Tell the Spartans. I don't think it had anything to do with college football. It's like an action movie, TV movie. And then he was also in another TV movie titled More Than Friends, playing Joshua Harrington. Then he made a voyage on the Love Boat. One time, he only did one Love Boat, I mean, hopefully it'll tell me the episode. Yep. Season 2, episode 13 of The Love Boat, which is streaming on Paramount Plus, and there's a Pluto TV Love Boat channel, I think. Yeah. It doesn't say what segment he's in it, because as you know, The Love Boat it was an anthology show. They have 3 different storylines going at once. So I don't know which one it is, but the titles are El Kid. I guess that's like a Hispanic kid, El Kid. EL Kid. The Last $100, and then another third story, Isosceles Triangle, 1978, season 2, episode 13. Little trivia about Love Boat. I think most people know this that are like nostalgia nerds like me. But in season 1 of The Love Boat, it didn't show the face of the guest star. It just showed a bunch of hearts and it had the name of the guest actor. I liked how in season 2 you saw the face of the actor or actress. That was a good change in the little opening credit sequence of The Love Boat. And then in season 9, they got a new version of the theme, not sang by crooner Jack Jones, but by Diane Warwick. She was O.J. Simpson's buddy. Not that it matters. That's not knocking her. It's a fact. She was defending him to the end during the O.J. trial, saying he didn't do it. He's innocent. But I like her a lot. But she re-sang the Love Boat theme. And also in season 9 of Love Boat, you had Terry Hatcher make her first major appearance on a national scale playing the lead mermaid. They introduced these dancers, the mermaids, in season 9 of The Love Boat. Now check this out. Now we're talking about some movies. Oh, wait, I forgot one more. Apple Pie TV series, 1978. He did 8 episodes of Apple Pie. That show didn't make it. He played Fast Eddie Murtaugh in Apple Pie, which did not last long. And he was one of the principal main actors, like in the main cast. He was one of the stars of Apple Pie. Had nothing to do with American Pie, youngsters like Brandon. Has nothing to do with American Pie, the movies. Okay, now we're getting to some movies. 1979, Dabney Coleman played Emmett Hunter in a movie I love, a football parody, NFL parody, North Dallas 40. Great movie, funny as hell. Then back on the small screen, he was on Different Strokes as Fred Tanner in 79. In a 1 hour episode is a double length episode, but in syndication, it's cut into 2 parts. Like it's a 2-parter. It was not a 2-parter. Arnold's Girlfriend. And that was a spinoff, I believe, with Hello Larry, with Ruthie. Arnold had a crush on Ruthie, who was Paris Hilton's aunt, the actress who played Ruthie on Hello Larry. Let me look that up. I need to get to a clip or something, and I need to verify that because there was a Thanksgiving spinoff of Different Strokes to Hello Larry, and that was a double-length episode. Kim Richards is Paris Hilton's aunt that I'm talking about, and Kim Richards played Ruthie on Hello Larry, which only lasted like a season and a half on NBC, spinoff of Different Strokes. Damn. Anyway, so he was in a 1 hour episode of Different Strokes, Dabney Coleman. Now here's the Barnaby Jones episodes, 5 episodes. Let me go through this quickly. Starting in season 2 in 73, he was in an episode titled Blind Terror. I love Barnaby Jones. I have them all on DVD. That is a quality show. If you've not seen it, and it holds up really well. Good detective show. Only thing that's dated is the use of payphones, but what are you going to do? Same with Canon, same with all these period pieces. You're just going to have outdated technology. But in Barnaby Jones, he was in season 4, episode 12, A Taste for Murder. And that was the one with Lee Purcell. And then whom Pat McCormack interviewed during the strike last year in 2023. So she couldn't talk about any of the stuff I wanted her to talk about. She was talking about just, well, I mean, meaningful things in her life, like charitable organizations and stuff. But Lee Purcell played David Banner's woman in The Return of the Incredible Hulk in 1988 on NBC. That was the first reunion movie after the show was canceled in 1982 by CBS. It returned on NBC in May of 88. And they brought Thor into the fold. That was the first live action Thor. They had done live action Captain America, which was terrible in like 1978, 79, and live action Spider-Man, which was terrible on CBS. And that predated The Incredible Hulk, starring Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno, by 2 months. September 77 is when Spider-Man first hit as a movie and then a weekly series. And The Incredible Hulk didn't hit till November 77 with a 2-hour TV movie before it was picked up as a series that began in early 78. Whew. So, In season 6 of Barnaby Jones, Dabney Coleman acted in season 6, episodes 18 and 19, a two-parter, The Final Judgment, part 1 and part 2. And then in season 8 of Barnaby Jones, Dabney Coleman acted in season 8, episode 7, titled Tonight's Episode, Indoctrination and Evil, as Brad Adamson. Dabney Coleman, who just died. Okay, last thing in 79 that's credited or that's listed is a show called a TV movie, When She Was Bad. He played Jack Wilson. And then in 1980, in a show called Nothing Personal, he played Dickerson. And then also in 1980, the year 9 to 5 hit the scene. He was in something called Pray TV as Marvin Fleece. It sounds like it was probably a parody of Organized Religion, or at least TV Evangelist. I don't know. Somebody let me know in chat. I know probably no one in chat knows what I'm talking about. I don't even know what I'm talking about because I never researched the show Pray TV. Marvin Fleece, though. Fleece. I don't even know if he's playing a preacher. That'd be a good name for a televangelist. I'm not bashing religion. Don't misunderstand. But, there's guys on TV that beg for donations, that just going back to, you are healed. All that crap, just a bunch of lies, just to get donations, get money, and live high on the hog in a jet airplane. I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to get sued. But you know who I'm talking about. Like these guys that squint their eyes and they're all a lot of them are just a bunch of hypocrites or crooks. Kind of like financial advisors. Most of the financial advisors are crooks. Let's see here. Dabney Coleman acted in How to Beat the High Cost of Living, playing Jack Heinzel in 1980. And then also in 1980, Melvin and Howard was a production he acted in as Judge Keith Hayes. Now here we are, 9 to 5, finally. Franklin Hart Jr., The Boss, in 9 to 5, released in 1980. I can't play much of this, and I can't play the music, the theme, the great theme, the song by Dolly Parton, working 9 to 5 because the bots will get me. Let me just play what I can play from 9 to 5. And then we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. I got to start winding. I've already gone an hour. Dang, I got to get up kind of early tomorrow. Let me just play a clip from 9 to 5. I'm going to just play a movie trailer, which I do not think has, and I got some interviews with Dabney that are funny too. I don't think this has the theme. Let's just see.
20th Century Fox presents a tribute to anyone who has ever been overworked, underpaid, and pushed to the edge by an ungrateful boss. They arrive promptly at 9, because if they're not on time, they know they'll get the sack. But before they begin the daily grind, the boss takes his cup black. They remember each date, make sure he's not late, and keep everything organized. They reserve tables for brunch or a 3-martini lunch, while they dine on burgers and fries.
This road.
They listen to all his problems. They do their best to please. And even if they run the show, he gets paid for their ideas.
Great work.
And so long as he's alive, from 9 to 5, they'll take it all they can.
This road. Come in here.
But what will go on when the light finally dawns that it's time to get back at that man?
This road.
Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Dolly Parton. 9 to 5.
What a classic. I just love that movie. I think I might have another clip from 9 to 5 I can play, and thank God I didn't have the theme. I'm going to play a lot of Modern Problems clips. That's a movie a lot of people hate. I love that movie. I've got it on DVD. Get to that in just a second when we get to that on the list. We're almost there. There's the DVD. Had a 16mm film print reel-to-reel. I sold it because feature films on 16 are not in stereo. They're mono. And so I'm keeping my TV shows and my favorite TV shows because you gain more on film with TV, and you lose when it comes to motion pictures. Also, I'm keeping Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, the originals, in scope, even though they have mono sound. They're the original prints. Like my Star Wars doesn't even say Episode 4 New Hope because it's a print from before that was added. That was added, if you don't know, for the re-release, for the re-releases to promote The Empire Strikes Back. Okay, let me get back to my list. So that was 9 to 5. Just a tremendous hit. Let me pull up some stats about 9 to 5. I didn't prepare that ahead of time. I just sort of whipped this together quickly when I learned that he passed away. I had not planned to do a show this week because I'm super busy tomorrow on something, on a project. Let me look up 9 to 5. And I just can quickly tell you the box office and the production budget of that classic film. Is that streaming anywhere? Chat, let me know. I'd love to know where you can find 9 to 5. Hey, that's owned by Disney now because that was a 20th Century Fox movie, as was Room 222, a show I talked about earlier a little bit. Got a little bit lengthy talking about Room 222 earlier tonight. Probably longer than I should have, but that's also owned by Disney now. But 9 to 5 was released as a holiday release on December 19th, 1980. The budget was $10 million, but it earned $103.3 million at the box office. Wow. Woo, wee. That's 80, what, 8? Wow, that's a lot. 97 million profit? Man, you got to be kidding. 93 million profit? 93.3 million profit. Unbelievable. Wow, what a hit. What a great movie. I mean, it was well done, you know, and that was long before the Me Too movement and what the like and whatnot and the like. Trying to say two things at once. I always do that, and then I get mealy mouth there. Okay, so in 1981, he did a TV movie. Dabney Coleman did, Callie and Son, and he played Randall Bordeaux. And then on the big screen, he did a movie I love. Talk about it on Golden Pond. He played Bill Ray. And I loved his interaction with the Fondas in that as an actor. He had some really powerful scenes. That was a very heartfelt movie. Now we get to Modern Problems, where he played Mark Winslow, who I think is the Dr. Phil prototype, but a fictional prototype. Obviously, Mark Winslow is not real, but he reminds me of Dr. Phil. He talks like him. He has a Southern accent. And I'm not saying Dr. Phil is full of crap, but this character, Mark Winslow, is full of crap. And he's like a motivational speaker, and he's kind of a Dr. Phil type. And he had some really funny moments in Modern Problems. And that's a movie where Chevy Chase's character is doused with nuclear waste when he's in his car following a tanker, a gas tanker filled with nuclear waste. And it's glowing green, glow in the dark. It's a dark scene. And Chevy Chase is an air traffic controller. He's frustrated with his girlfriend and stuff. And he's driving home and he's tailgating this tanker, and it's leaking this green glowing fluid, which turns out to be nuclear waste. It gets all over him and he gains powers. And it's just a silly movie. And it was one of the first things Nell Carter did right before Give Me a Break debuted on NBC. She did this movie playing Dorita, a housekeeper who was into voodoo. And really funny stuff. Let me just play some clips. And while these clips are playing, I'm going to look at the box office of Modern Problems. But man, he stole the show in that movie. He even bore his ass. I'm going to play that clip too. Let me see where I can start here. And then I'm going to put some chat on the screen. And I apologize, chatters on YouTube and Facebook Live. And if anyone's tweeting me, I've been looking at my notes here. Let me get to the clips. And here we are. Here they are. Modern Problems. I already played the trailer at the very beginning of the show, so I'm not going to play that again. Here's a great scene. The first scene with Dabney Coleman in Modern Problems, it's a minute long, where you can see immediately the guy's a horse's ass, and he's just full of himself. Excuse me. Now, when I got an agent, I do acting. This is years ago. I copied this monologue because you have to perform a monologue for an agent, and if they like your performance and they like your look, they might take you on and be your agent. And now here is something I performed along with a scene in a movie called Phenomenon by Robert Duvall. He wanted nothing from anybody. I can't do it now. You'll think I'm a terrible actor, and I kind of am. But there was a scene in Phenomenon I did also as a monologue. But here's one of my monologues, 42 seconds long, from Modern Problems, Dabney Coleman.
June 5th,
By the way, the previous scene, I forgot about that language, and that he said a-hole there. So sorry. Family show. There's some language in these, and nothing was meant by that. You know what I'm saying? All right. All right. I don't need to see an instant replay. Whoever, I got that off YouTube from somebody. By the way, these clips, no rights are given or implied. This is all for this educational lecture and biography of the late, great Dabney Coleman. I copied that. Full disclosure. Anyone who follows this show, never mind. We'll talk about it another time, but I kind of copied that, but I never actually revealed my butt. But there was a time at Al Hardy's studio, I was wearing these shorts, and this really happened at a Publix, and they accidentally fell down. I was wearing underwear, of course, for God's sakes. And I heard somebody go, "Oh my God," behind me. It was the most embarrassing thing. It's like that nightmare where you go to school or work and you're naked. That really happened, but thank God I wasn't naked. Oh God, it was just horrible. But I recreated it, and I thought about that scene from Modern Problems in Al's studio. It was kind of a joke. Anyway, but I turned around. You didn't want to see my front. Anyway, what? Okay, I should not have said that. Now let's watch a little more of Dabney Coleman and Modern Problems, and then we'll move on to some other clips and interviews with the late, great Dabney Coleman as we laugh and remember the great talent of Dabney Coleman. He goes, Dabney Coleman rushes in and goes, "Rest in peace, dipshit." Now, who did the music of that movie is Dominique Frontier. It all comes full circle. Who did the music for The Invaders for the most part, along with other composers, and 12 O'Clock High and The Outer Limits, which Dabney Coleman appeared on. So kind of comes full circle. But that scene always cracked me up. I don't condone what it implies, but I just thought it was hilarious that, yes! I like it. That's just classic. That's probably the best part of that movie. So I looked up some box office, and I will get back to the comments, folks. I'm sorry, because there's some really good ones. Like Tracy was talking about someone with a missing finger earlier. I was talking about when I was talking about the great oh God, I hate it when this happens. I'm not drinking. I hadn't drinking in a long time. I'm not drinking. I'm not drugging. I'm not nothing. Who has missing fingers, who played the sheriff. All right. I'll get back to it. Modern Problems was released on Christmas Day, 1981. It had a budget of $8 million, but it earned $26,154,211. So a lot of people say it was a bomb. That's millions of dollars in profit. I mean, it wasn't a blockbuster, that's for sure. But I mean, and it wasn't that great a comedy like maybe a Caddyshack or a Fletch for Chevy Chase or a National Lampoon's Vacation. But I thought it was a funny movie, and it ran endlessly on HBO and Showtime growing up. I watched that movie a lot. I thought it was funny. And the Tubes did the song, the title song was by a band I like a lot, the Tubes. And let's see, you saw the trailer. Brian Doyle Murray, Bill Murray's brother's in there playing a guy in a wheelchair. It's great. It's a great movie. It's funny. So, Pat Hingle's who I was thinking of with the missing fingers. I better address some comments before we continue on with talk about Dabney Coleman here. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't looking at chat, and there was a lot of fellowship, as Bob says, from Thrash Pondo Pond's YouTube channel. Rick Clark agrees with me. That girl was dumb. Yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it was... all these historians say it was groundbreaking. I don't think it was all that great. I think Mary Tyler Moore was groundbreaking in terms of a woman making it on her own. I mean, she literally drove to Minnesota in the opening credits every week, or at least in the early episodes. And she made a name of herself in TV news, which was unheard of in the 1970 when the show started. I don't think That Girl, which started in 66 to 67 season. I'm sorry. I know I'm probably offending a lot of people. It's my opinion. I didn't think it was all that. But then again, I haven't watched but maybe a handful of episodes. I just didn't like it. But I like Marlo Thomas and Ted Bessel. Hello to Midsize Sasquatch. Hello to Cindy D. I actually liked Buffalo Bill. So did I. Let's see. And my Flux says, I didn't care for that. Copying our friend Al Hardy, or we're sort of using his expression. Tracy's Fractured History and More YouTube channel. She says, I love That Girl. That's cool. Mid-sized Sasquatch. The older he got, the more cartoony he became. Mark Patterson, I know him. Watching on Facebook Live. That sucks. War Games is what I will always remember him for. Yeah, and it was a small role, but memorable, right? Yes. Hello to you, Mark Patterson. Mid-sized Sasquatch also said, but he was almost always a bad guy, or not Mr. Nice Guy, talking about Dabney Coleman. Man, he sure was a bad guy in that Columbo. Gonna play a clip of that in a little bit. In a 1991 TV movie on ABC TV. Oh my gosh. Easy Rider. That's what I was trying to remember earlier. The counterculture classic movie. And everyone's screaming at me. Jay Roberts, Everdry waterproofing. If you're in Atlanta, Georgia area, they do basement protection from water damage. Yeah. Easy Rider, he says. Mark Frito. Hello to Mark Frito. Dabney was great in Boardwalk Empire. Yes, he was. I loved him in that. I love that show. Brandon Priest garbage truck videos up in Canada in the Great White North says, yo, what's up? Sorry I left. Wanted to make my own custom background for my iPod Touch home screen. Well, hey, man, you do you. That's fine. Hello to Snarky. My dear friend Snarky in Arkansas State. Snark and Sass YouTube channel says, boopies, y'all. And Sarah Myflock in Southern California is here welcoming Brandon back. And she reminds me, family show, Chance. Columbo, another good show, says music and fun, etc. YouTube channel. And Cindy D says, I like Dabney Coleman and You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks. Joe FOX. Shane B in the house. Sick 2210 production says, I hate laugh tracks. Don't tell me when to laugh. I agree, man. I agree. That's one of the big liabilities of things like the Patty Duke Show, I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched. They were great shows. They didn't need that. But now you look at modern sitcoms and you take the laugh track away, the ones that are not in front of a live studio audience, and they suck. They completely suck. They're not funny. And Shane, thank you. I mailed my flock that wonderful t-shirt. I got mine, of course, yesterday. You know that I sent you a private note. But thank you for that. He sent me a killer shirt. I'm going to get it. Hang on. I'm going to go get it. I don't mean to stop the show. Give me a second. I want to show this shirt. This is Shane B's YouTube channel. Sick 2210 Productions. Sick 2210 Productions. I watched this last night. This is a really high quality shirt. Look at that. Look, I love the logo with that talking skull. Bad to the bone. And he sent one for me to send to Sarah. And he sent the money to cover the postage and more so than he needed to. And so I sent this to Sarah, of course, sealed in the plastic that it came in with the care instructions. And I gave her an extra comic book and some other stuff because Sarah's my buddy. So I'll put that right down for now so I don't have to stop the show again. But thank you to Shane B for that. Mark also says, yeah, really great in Boardwalk Empire. Yep, I agree. And let me just get through some more of these comments. I'm way back. Wear it with pride. Happy birthday. Oh, okay. So I guess Sarah was talking to Shane in chat. I'm not running the show on the audio platform, so it doesn't matter if I'm being all visual tonight. I might run it though. If you're listening at Fistful of Radio out of Atlanta or on Apple Podcasts, go to the YouTube channel, The Nostalgic PodBlast, and look for the classic shot of Dabney Coleman from 9 to 5 in the live tab. You have to click the live tab. I know it's confusing to those that are not versed in YouTube. YouTube. What am I trying to say? YouTube customs. But you got to just Google search The Nostalgic PodBlast and you'll see it towards the top. See the YouTube channel. Click that. Then click the live tab. Look for Dabney Coleman, and you're in the right place if you want to see these clips. Let's see here. Let me get on down here. Okay. 6 says, hey, that's Shane B. Hey to my flock. Thank you for the shirt. Okay, she misspelled shirt. Chance mailed it today. She said S-H-I-T, but she left off the R. We know what you meant. Wear it with pride. Happy birthday. Shane says to Sarah in Southern California. And it was sent priority mail. Tracking numbers are there. Sarah, you know that. And I sent them to Shane also, so he knows I really mailed it. Of course, why wouldn't I mail it? And I mailed him some Star Wars cards from 77, and he said he just got them. I mailed those like 2 weeks ago. The Postal Service is all jacked up. Let's see here. Ralph Stoner, LOL. Yeah, I'm way back. Joe Mannix. That's right, Shane B. Let me just get down here and try to get caught up. We left off with Modern Problems. I got one more clip to play. I loved McMillan and Wife with Susan St. James. Yes, I didn't mention that she was the co-star of McMillan and Wife, Susan St. James. Good call. That was part of the Sunday night NBC mystery movie. It would rotate with Columbo and let me get here. Streets of San Francisco. Great show, says Cindy D. Breathe, Chance. I'm trying. I like the one with Susan Lucci. He was protecting her. Talking about Fall Guy? Yeah, I showed that earlier. That's a season 4 episode. One of the few where you see Colt get laid. Family show with her in a tent. You don't actually see it, of course, but it's this episode, which is a ripoff of Romancing the Stone. And it's called, there's the TV Guide ad. I put it on the film can. Everglades Excitement from the fall of 1984, season 4 of Fall Guy. Second episode that aired that season. It wasn't the second produced, though. But that's what the film reel looks like for that episode. Perfect color, LPP. Stranger Than Fiction. Susan Lucci played an author who had the goods on tape of like a mobster. And so the mobster wants her dead. So Colt's got to protect her, right? Let me, 1 second, folks. Sorry. I got to put this up. All right. Back to the show. All right. So Cindy D says, I watched Fernwood tonight on Nick at Night. Funny show. Yeah, it was. It really was. Hello to Woo Riders DG. I was just at a 7-Eleven gas station. As I was leaving, I saw the guy turning to the gas station and he ran over a homeless man on his bicycle. Okay. And he ran over. Oh, okay. The guy didn't even give a crap. He asked if he was okay 2 times and then went ahead and pumped gas. Are you saying you accidentally ran the guy over? I'm confused. I helped the old man up and gave him a cigarette. Oh, that's nice. So someone else hit this guy? Are you kidding me? I hope he's all right. Jeez, that's crazy. What the hell? Cindy D. Ted Lange, who, for the layman out there, played the bartender Isaac on The Love Boat, was the only actor who directed The Love Boat. That's correct. He directed some Fall Guys, too. Good ones, too. Spring Break, season 4. And I did one in season 3. It doesn't matter. Who cares, right? Let's see. Ted Lange was the only actor who directed The Love Boat. Bernie Capel, Fred Grandy, and Ted also wrote for the show. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know about the writing part. I knew about the directing. Joel Osteen. Yeah, I didn't want to mention his name. Yeah, that's the preacher, one of the prosperity preachers, right? Talk about robbing from the poor, but not given to the rich. I mean, robbing from the rich, given to the poor. It's the opposite with that guy. Allegedly. Boss makes $1, I make it a dime, and that's why I poop on company time, says Shane B. The PDF Elves says, living 9 to 5, working 9 to 5. Hello to Elizabeth Kenny. Hello there. She's watching on Facebook Live. Hey, Liz. The PDF Elves. Oh, no, Sarah, he's whipping it now. I don't know what you mean. I'm far back. Let me get caught up, and we'll get back on track. I've got to wrap soon anyway, this show. Brandon says, I just impersonated your wild to Sarah on Facebook. You're wild. You're wild? I don't know what that means. Okay, Chance. What is a dialogue like? Is it a script? Let me see if I have this picture. I can show you something. I don't know if I uploaded it. I'm super excited about Sunday. I'm going to do another comic book unboxing with Open by Chance. Open by Chance Toys is what their YouTube channel used to be called. Now they're just Open by Chance. And they go around to conventions all over Georgia and some parts of the Southeast, and they do a really professional photo piece, so it makes you feel like you're at the convention, and then they show you what they bought at the conventions or traded for at the conventions and got and brought home. They're husband and wife team, and I'm super excited to have them as my guest in week 4 of my unboxing series, where I'm going to let the chat pick a box, one of these numbered boxes, and we'll go through the entire box. I've not gone through these boxes, so it's a mystery to me, a mystery to you. And I'll try to have a giveaway, maybe a trivia question to make it more interesting to the viewer. It'll be Sunday at 3 Eastern time, this coming Sunday. I'm very excited to have these folks on the show. Open my chance. Let me take the comment off so you can see that better. And we'll get back to talking about Dabney Coleman, which is the main topic and the only topic it's supposed to be anyway tonight. Okay, let me, that'll be Sunday on this channel. Okay. Rest in peace. Oh, Pat Hingle. Yeah. Pat Hingle. Yeah. With the missing fingers. Golly. Let's see. Okay. Here's where we left off. Sorry, Brandon. All right. So there's that. Remember, it's a family show. I'm trying. Viewer discretion is advised, says Brandon in Canada. His favorite things before Oprah. Talking about, yeah, I mean, I really think that character, Mark Winslow, reminds me of Dr. Phil. I have no beef with Dr. Phil, and I'm not saying Dr. Phil is a phony. And I should walk back. I don't think all financial advisors are crooks. Surely not. But too many have been caught with their hand in the till. And one of them, they used to be my client in the radio advertising business, is actually on the run from the feds, from the marshals, and he's not been caught. Man, I mean, his wife was blindsided by some of the stuff he pulled, supposedly. Chance has a plumber crack. Oh yeah, talking about when I dropped the when Dabney Coleman's character dropped his towel there, trying to seduce Darcy. Didn't work, did it? In the script. Let's see here. Pat Hingle. Yep. Chance, what's a monologue? It's a paragraph. It's just a paragraph that an actor does. Like, think Wall Street. You ever see the movie Wall Street? Not Wolf of Wall Street, but Wall Street with Michael Douglas. He had a great monologue in that. It's just something that an actor, they're speaking by themselves, basically, solo. It's a solo. Think of a solo guitarist, a guitar solo. Can't talk tonight. Or think guitar solo. Same thing with an actor, okay? They just say a short paragraph to demonstrate their acting versatility. And they typically do that for an agent, or if a script calls for it in a scene. And like I said, one of my favorites is Robert Duvall. He's one of my favorite actors, and he had a great monologue in Phenomenon. A lot of people don't like that movie. John Travolta, where he gets these powers. I thought it was a great movie. Let's see here. Yeah, I liked him in Modern Problems. Danny Staten says he was my guest last week in the unboxing week 3. And I got the most views of all of my unboxings so far, by the way. Danny Staten in South Carolina was my co-host because he's a comic book collector and comic book expert. And I'm going to have him back to do another one if he's got the time. Hello to Ben Compton. Hello to you, sir. I need to get another contest. He's good at playing trivia, and I've sent him some prizes, and he likes to play and likes to win stuff. So I need to cater to that. Let's see here. Nice. You talking about me? Cool shirt. This yellow shirt. Thank you. If you're talking about me. Might have been a clip. Boy from Beyond says, good night, Chance. My flock and everyone take care all. Well, thanks for checking in and hanging out as long as you could. I know we'll all remember Dabney Coleman. Dr. Phil is a paid show and has a bad hairpiece. Isn't he bald? I thought Dr. Phil is bald. He didn't have a hairpiece. David Hughes says, speaking rhetorically. And just let me know. Oh, you mean the time and place? Yeah, man. This week, of course, I've got Open by Chance. June 9th, I have K-Pop Junkie and Papa Wheelie. They'll both be on the same show. And then I'm wide open, and I only have 9 more boxes to go through, 9 full boxes, and the rest of them are completely full, Danny. Because we found one that was half full, which the seller told me, and it happened to be the number that the person in chat selected, so I went over a box. Let's get back to Dabney Coleman. He has a comb over, says PDF Elves. Dr. Phil, I don't doubt your word. I thought he was pretty much bald. He might have had hair on the side. I'm not going to doubt your word. I'm not going to argue with someone who's taking the time to watch my silly show. All right, let's get back to Dabney and Modern Problems. Let me see if I have another clip. I know I pulled a good interview because he did a real good serious movie. I told you already, Tootsie, or we talked about it. I didn't tell you. We discussed it. You and I are a team. It's the audience and the host is a team. Let me see if I have another. Okay, I think I've played all the Modern Problems clips. Nope, here's one, 23 seconds long. Listen, you're going to hear the word GD. Not one of my favorite words. I know there's a lot of people that watch that are church-going folks like Jerry Dobson. It's just a movie. I'm not condoning anything, but it's a funny scene. It's a classic line from Modern Problems, classic line by the late, great Dabney Coleman. I'm going to play it.
I'm not a freak.
Pretty dramatic. Dramatic comedy. So let's take a break from my big gaping mouth and let's listen to Dabney Coleman in an interview. I want to play an interview of Dabney with Johnny Carson for about 8 minutes, if you can take it, and I'll put the rest of the comments on the screen, and we'll get back to, well, you know what? Check that. I got that queued up and ready to go. Let me just look at the list of his credits. On Golden Pond, I should have pulled that trailer. I did not. Oh, maybe next week. I'll just play it at the beginning of the show. And that came out in 81, same year as Modern Problems, which was released Christmas Day, 81. Oh, and then Young Doctors in Love. I forgot all about this. He played Dr. Joseph Prang. Remember that movie, Young Doctors in Love, in 1982? Then came Tootsie, a serious movie, very strange movie. Strange romance movie. And then after Tootsie was War Games. Shall we play a game? Love that. Love that movie so much. It was either Superman 3 or War Games when those movies were out with my cousins in Boston, and my cousins chose War Games. I was so disappointed. I wanted to see Superman 3, but you know what? I loved War Games, and I was glad that that they chose that in retrospect. So let me now get to, let's find a clip about, I got a clip from Buffalo Bill, or talking about Buffalo Bill. Let me just make sure I got the right one. Here's a clip where Dabney Coleman's talking about Tootsie. This is, I don't know if I can play the whole thing, 9 minutes long. Hopefully the stream won't go down.
Well, Dabney, it's been a few years since I've seen you. You were in Dallas, and we interviewed on 9 to 5. And here you are back in Tootsie, doing another one of your chauvinist-type roles. Is this getting to be any sort of a problem for you? I'm thinking about people who come up to you and fans and that sort of thing.
In terms of they're thinking that that's the real person? I don't know. You'd have to ask them, but certainly there's no, I mean, I've never been confronted with, any kind of objectionable behavior along those lines, for that reason at any rate.
So then you don't have to consciously bend over backwards to show people that you're not the chauvinist person you play, that in other words, that it's not typecasting.
Well, no, I don't have to do anything that's uncomfortable for me because I don't consider myself a chauvinist, and I'm not, and so it's not. I don't think I overcompensate, but it's a natural compensation for me, I think.
You, in this film, you're the director. You're the highest paid director of soap operas, and that's a no-no. I should say daytime drama.
Right.
I learned that from the film. But in the picture, of course, you have many confrontations with Dorothy because she just goes off on her own. In actuality, will Dustin do that as an actor, kind of go off on his own?
Well, he might from time to time, but if anything, I would say the impression he left me with was one of pulling people together. And a kind of community kind of sense. He was a force that he listened to other people's opinions. He He was anxious to hear them. He responded to them, which does not mean that he didn't have his own, but he was very, very open with all of us, I think, with the director and with the fellow actors. He's fun. He's fun. I felt like it was we were together on the project, and I think he made everybody feel that way. At least the actors. I mean, he's very actor-oriented. He talks actor language, and he has a passion for it, which I share and which I respect him for, which makes it a nice experience.
In the movie, in his early scenes, he is a drama coach, working with aspiring actors, young actors.
And an actor. Also, he's an actor.
Yeah, yes,
both,
right. Do you think that he, in actuality, is a drama coach, or does he ever kind of fulfill that role on the set with his fellow actors?
Well, in as much as he discusses things, and he has his opinions, as I just was talking about, but in terms of insisting upon a certain thing, he wouldn't do that. And fortunately, I think that he was working with people who have fairly strong opinions themselves. Charles Durning, Bill Murray, Jessica Lange, Terry Garr. These people are professional people, and they know what they're doing. And I think anything that he might have to say would be offered as by way of a suggestion, as opposed to a mandate, which is also to his credit. I think it's part of the creative process, is to allow the other person to do what he thinks, what he feels is right. And he respects that certainly as much as any actor I've ever come in contact with.
Dabney, in the early days of your career, did you have a long struggle where you had to do lots of things you didn't want to do, like in the movie Dustin has to do a lot of things just to survive?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to do that?
Yes, I had to do a lot of things, but I don't recall at the time thinking I don't want to do this. I was so thankful to be working at all that each job was a tremendous victory to me to get the job in the first place, and then to be working, and to learning, and it was never, to me, a struggle in that sense, in terms of the choices that I had to make. It was a struggle in terms of not getting enough parts, but not in terms of the character of the parts. These are now much more interesting, the parts I'm doing lately, but that's all part of the learning process, I think, is doing the things that I had to do early on.
I have not seen you, of course, since you got your nomination for On Golden Pond, which was...
Wait.
Oh.
I wasn't nominated. I don't know. Someone else said that a few interviews ago, but I wasn't nominated.
You should have been.
Well, thank you.
It's in the press kit that you were nominated.
It should not be, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were, I know, though, you surely must have been considered. Maybe you lost out by a few votes for being nominated, but that...
Let's pretend like that's true.
Oh, right.
Okay, let's work from there. Okay.
No, because, Daddy, what I wanted to say is that always, if I live to be 100, one of my favorite scenes in any movie will be the scene that you did with Henry Fonda.
And mine, yeah. That was an experience.
It had to be just...
A great scene, and the man, the persona of the human being was extraordinary.
Was it a scene that was done many, many times, or did it all...
No, we did it very few times. In fact, I wanted to do one extra take, and I think that was only take about number 5, which is not a lot of takes, especially on a scene of that duration. It's about a 6-page scene, 5 or 6 minute scene, and I don't think we did more than 5 takes on the master shot. And I insisted on one more, and I remember Henry, after I got through doing it, said, "Thank you." He says, "Okay." He said, "Didn't see any difference. Like them both." Like this. I don't know whether there was a difference, but it's nice to be able to know that you can do a scene as many times until you feel it right. If you have that in the back of your mind, it tends to make you a little bit more relaxed and more creative, I think. Well, it was special time.
Special time for me, too. I shall always remember it. Dabney, very nice to see you again. Congratulations on a super performance in Tootsie.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Tootsie is going to be one of the big hits of the season. You can't lose.
Yeah.
All right, now, if you will cut me just above the waist. Do reactions first, and then...
All right. Well, so it was 9 minutes because we don't need. I mean, at 7 minutes we don't need to see reactions, but I like that interview a lot. Let me now see where we're at with his list of credits. All right. Young Doctors Love Tootsie. War Games. Yeah, War Games. Let me see. Where the hell? War Games.
Shall we play a game?
I just want to play a little clip. I had that queued up for my trivia that I usually do. I always start my segment for trivia with that. Awesome film about a game of global thermal nuclear war against what turned out to be a real computer. And I like that movie almost as much as Ferris Bueller's Day Off in terms of Matthew Broderick's performances. But hell, I liked him in The Cable Guy too in 1996. I thought that was a great dark comedy. And Inspector Gadget. You know, I haven't seen much from Matthew Broderick lately, but he's had a really nice career in his own right, of course. I mean, of roles that just were kind of impactful. Now let's talk about Buffalo Bill. From 83 to 84, only 26 episodes. It was a brilliant show. I'm going to play a clip of our friend Bill Tush, who Al Hardy and Tom Williams introduced me to. This is from, I guess, 1982. Let's watch a 3-minute clip. And guess who else is in this clip? Being interviewed is Doug Barr from Fall Guy. You'll see him just sitting there with Bill Tush. But let's look at this clip really quick.
Our next guest says she just stumbled into acting. In fact, she just stumbled up here moments ago. We're going to find out why. Most would-be actresses wish they could stumble so well. You should have seen it. She's appeared in The Laughing Policeman with Walter Matthau, recently in Blade Runner with Harrison Ford, and soon she's going to be seen in the new NBC summer replacement series called Buffalo Bill. Here is Joanna Cassidy. How come? What happened? You got here late.
I was late.
What happened?
That's all I have to say about it.
I'm just not gonna
I can't tell you what happened.
Oh, but you just made it.
Yeah.
Made it in the nick of time. So tell us about this new show.
What would you like to know about it?
Well, you know, who's in, what's it about?
Okay, it's sort of a...
How long is it going to be on?
We hope for a long time, but besides that, it's sort of I don't know, bird's eye view of what it's like to make a TV show, an on-the-air show. And I play the director. Dabney Coleman plays the talk show host. And we sort of, you know, and then all the other characters.
So this is like a spoof on TV talk shows.
Well, it's not really a spoof.
No.
It's very real.
It is?
Yes, it is.
we have a clip from it. We'll give you an idea of what it's about. Looks like a lot of fun to do. I wish we would have thought of it. Here's a clip from Buffalo Bill with Joanna Cassidy and Dabney Coleman.
We're not on camera, Mrs. Gallardo. Save it.
Oh, you got to do it now. Otherwise, you got to know soaps.
What the hell's going on here? Who is that woman? She's making me look like a jerk.
Oh, it'll go better once you start eating the spaghetti.
Joe, I'm serious. I'm dying up there.
It's okay from where I'm sitting.
Oh, sure. From where you're sitting up behind the scenes, your career's not on the line up there.
It's an hour show. They don't all win Emmys, and your career is not on the line.
Honey, trust me. My fans will not stand for this. It's boring.
Now, look, next segment, you come in, you talk about the book. Then you go back in the kitchen, you yank the spaghetti off the stove, you dump in the sauce, you ladle it out for the audience, yum, 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 fade to black, audience goes home, and tomorrow's another day. Now, what's the problem?
The problem is I'm very disappointed in you. I expected a lot more support from my director.
Excuse me, 30 seconds, Mr. Bittinger. Better hightail it back to the booth this way.
Yeah.
Jojo, I'm not wearing this stupid hat.
Your hair is smished.
Jojo, I won't forget this.
Makeup.
That's very good. Very good. They must have researched a lot of talk shows to get that. You did how many episodes of it?
13.
13? Mm-hmm. So it looks pretty good.
Lucky number,
yeah. Well, that's, mostly now they're just doing 3 or 6.
Yeah, that's true. That's all they're buying now.
So we'll be on for the whole summer. And hopefully into the fall if it catches on.
Mm-hmm.
What's Dabney Coleman like to work with?
The best. Absolutely the best.
Good.
He's just a very giving actor. I mean, he's one of the special people of the world. I mean, he has to have enough energy for everybody. He's got a lot of words to say. And it just cooked. Everybody just really cooked. I mean, it was like a family that was established after the second show, which is kind of rare.
The great Bill Tush. I love that interview, and it's so interesting. Doug Barr's just sitting there, and when Marky Post passed, that's the only other time I did a special report on the death of an actor that I liked, and that was back in 2021, August of 2021, and there was a clip I found of Bill Tush interviewing Marky Post, ironically enough. Let me do one thing. There we go. So, I want to play another clip of Johnny Carson interviewing Dabney Coleman. And then I'm going to play the Columbo clip from the 1991 Columbo movie that Dabney Coleman did. One of my favorites in the entire Columbo run, the classic run from the 70s and the 80s and 90s run. The last Columbo movie, by the way, was in 2003 on ABC. Over 20 years ago, 21 years ago, as we're live. But let's watch a little more of Johnny with Dabney Coleman. Rest in peace, Dabney Coleman.
Next guest is a very talented actor whose film credits include On Golden Pond, 9 to 5, and Tootsie, and Thursday nights at 9:30 on NBC and Buffalo Bill. That earned him 6 Emmy nominations last year, including his for Best Actor. Would you welcome Dabney Coleman?
Seems to be a marathon of pieces of business. Well,
Yes, sir. Isn't it funny how it's catching? People start to act silly. And
how it caught on after that monologue, you mean?
Yes.
You said Mondale was out here. I was beginning to think maybe he wrote that monologue. Is that
that bad, huh?
As bad as that? Yeah. How you been?
Good.
Good.
Is Buffalo Bill going to stay on? I read various things.
Well,
there was a wonderful column by, I don't know who the gentleman was in the L.A. Times today, and there seemed to be some...
Well, it's going off because we finished our season. We shot 13 shows starting last October, and it will go off at least until June. At that time, between now and then, they'll decide whether it comes back or not.
Well, I hope it does.
So we don't know at this point. Yeah,
it's good.
But,
now, I noticed you wearing...
Well, that's just a little honor, but I don't like to talk about it myself.
I looked down and I saw this, and
brings back some memories, some things that are pretty cruel, and things I'd like to forget.
I suppose in the battlefields, I suppose, overseas.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we don't like to remember some of those tragic moments. What a sneak. Gonna upstage your Legion of Honor award.
He's doing a hell of a job.
Yes, isn't he, though?
He's got a thicker ribbon, I'll tell you that.
This was a makeshift quickie, you understand that?
They make them thicker when you get 3.
They're all sewn together, yeah. You get a lot of them. I understand you get a quilt. I mean, you make a whole quilt.
I got to say, what an honor it is to be on here with this man here, and
I thought
to
you were
see
going to
him.
say me.
Nothing. To see him operating and going like the old Jerry is really enlightening and wonderful to see you doing it again, man.
Thank you,
really.
man.
You look great. You look great. I feel like Bob Hope all of a sudden, like the elder statesman.
What do you mean? No, you're not that old.
Yeah. I'm not as old as you. That's true. But that could mean still that I'm pretty old.
Two. Real endearing quality about you. I mean, when you were a kid, all those years ago, who did you like in the movies? Do you have any heroes?
I liked Frederick March, and I think Humphrey Bogart was a big fan of his. Yeah.
Did you go to dramatic?
Which is an interesting story, I think, and that story is over.
Well,
so we can now move on.
Is there an interesting story connected with that, or
no? Not at all. I was
hoping there was.
No, not even close.
More interesting stories we tell on the show, the better
is
the
Jerry
audience
still awake?
Seems to like it. Yes, Jerry's dozing off.
Is he looking this way?
Yes. Why Humphrey Bogart?
I don't know.
Why Frederick March?
Underdog.
Why anything?
Yeah.
No, I'm just...
Why anything? I like the underdog, and Humphrey Bogart and Jimmy Cagney, those little guys always played the underdog.
Right.
I was about this tall till I went to college.
Yeah.
And
you didn't do. Somebody told me you didn't do well in college.
I did okay. Who's laughing over there? Who is?
No, that you
couldn't be listening to this.
You were not. What was it? You were voted. I don't know how you can put this. Somebody told me, but you can't put it that indelicately on television.
VMI. I'm
you
gonna
went
let
to
you do
VMI.
it. I told him I'd let him take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were voted the most unlikely or the meanest.
The biggest of the week for 11 weeks.
Why was that?
I was. Curiously, I was not as nice a guy then as I am now, or as charming, but I was real sadistic with the rats. We call the freshmen the rats.
Right.
This is Virginia Military Institute, which is a great West Point of the South. We like to think of it as, and I was very sadistic with the rats there for some reason. I think for identity purposes or something. I think it was rather sick.
If I remember, your father was a military man.
A lot of my people in my family were. My cousin was eventually the commandant there, Glover Johns, and we all went to VMI, all 5 of us. Yeah.
Is that good discipline for a young man?
I don't know. I went to hell after that. I can tell you that. I mean, you don't have much option but to be disciplined while you're at VMI. And then when I went to University of Texas, everything just went right down the tubes after that. So I don't know. It's a subjective thing, but you will be disciplined at VMI. That's for sure.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Freddie, that's a cue, is it, Fred? Or are you just getting a little senile?
Get to the cue.
Freddie sometimes late at night just points at his hand,
Yeah.
and you know. And, well, you make a little circle sometimes, and I really don't know what that means. Oh, we have a film clip from Buffalo Bill. You play a talk show host on here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you pattern that after anybody? I mean, I just... kind of an irascible...
No, I don't. He is irascible, and he is a jerk, and so it's a stretch for me, but I don't... I don't really go for anybody. This particular scene, though, that you're going to see is Bill and his wife going to see his daughter and son, who actually are played by me and my leading lady.
That's not the clip.
That isn't it? Oh, that was Jerry's.
That was Jerry's.
Oh, that was yours. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I don't even know what the hell he's talking about.
He sucked me in. I'm sitting here.
Yeah, you were
gee, that sounds familiar.
Like this.
Yeah, I was interested in a guy introducing somebody that I saw that already here.
This is a clip of Bill introducing himself to a Brazilian actress who he's been enamored with for some time. And after that, I don't really...
Okay, here's a clip.
Oh, look. Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You wear this on today's show.
No. This is much too big for me.
Oh, you must wear it. You
No.
look wonderful.
No,
on
really,
you.
no.
Why not?
Let's just say it's against my religion.
You're Jewish?
You like Jewish men?
And they all have money, no?
Most of us do, yeah. You're cute as the Dickens, you know that?
You'd be cute as the Dickens if you wear this.
Oh, well, no, really, no. Come on.
Oh, please. I would owe you one if you wear it.
You'd owe me one. Ooh, I like the sound of that. One might be enough.
How's about we get together right after the show today?
Today? How's about we get together tomorrow?
I'm leaving tomorrow. Well, if you're ever in Brazil.
Well, wait a minute. Today? Did you say today? Because today is perfect. If we could do it today.
Oh, perfectamente.
It's good for you? Oh, okay, let's do that then. Oh, and remember now, if I wear the suit, you owe me one, right?
Maritza never goes back on her word.
That's an admirable quality in any land.
Today, perfect. No, sure. Take a break. We'll be right back.
I love that. Now, that lady that played the woman hitting on him, asking if he had money, she was in the Fall Guy Season 2 premiere episode, Bail and Bond, playing the Countess. Anyway, that's the only thing I'd seen her in, besides that clip on Buffalo Bill. All right, so let's now look at the list of credits. We've gone almost 2 hours, so I got to start winding down the show. Where's my list? Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, I don't have a clip of that. I thought the trailer. I think it's owned by Universal. They're really picky about their content, and I didn't want to risk having the stream go down. No clip, but that was an awesome film from 1984, where he played Jack Flack and Hal Osborne. That was a movie that ran endlessly on cable back in the 80s on Showtime and HBO and the like, Cinemax. And Henry Thomas, like I said earlier, from E.T. was in that film. Then, and also that same year, Muppets Take Manhattan. Dabney Coleman played Martin Price and Murray Plotsky. And what I like about Dabney Coleman is he didn't get an ego where he turned his nose up on television, because he was a pretty big movie star, having done Tootsie on Golden Pond, certainly 9 to 5, even Modern Problems. And then he went back to television. A lot of people, once they ascend to movie roles, they won't go back to TV. But I like that he didn't do that. And it worked out for him. He had a long career. But then he wound up on the big screen. So it paid off. After Buffalo Bill, he had Cloak and Dagger, Muppets Take Manhattan, and then The Man with One Red Shoe as Cooper from 1985 on the big screen. Then he did a TV movie. See, from the big screen back to TV in a TV movie called Morrow in 1986, playing William Paley. And then he was in another TV movie, The Return of Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer. And he played himself in that TV movie in 1986. And of course, that starred Stacy Keach, the Mike Hammer series. Then he did a TV miniseries, Fresno, in 1986. 6 episodes of that miniseries as Tyler Kane. In 87, he did a TV movie, Dabney Coleman did, titled Guilty of Innocence, the Linnell Geter story. In 1987, that same year, he did another TV movie, Sworn to Silence, playing Martin Costigan. And then came Dragnet as Jerry Caesar in 1987 on the big screen. And then right after that, and that was, of course, starred Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks. Right after Dragnet, that same year, he took a TV project, Plaza Suite, which was a TV movie, and he played Jesse Kiplinger. Then he was in Dolly as Arthur Andrews in 1988 for one episode of Dolly. Then came the Slap Maxwell story around that time. And that was Dolly, by the way, was a second variety series that she did on television. But the Slap Maxwell story earned him an award. Talked about that earlier. He did 22 episodes of that show. It only lasted 1 year, from 87 to 88. Then he did the TV movie in 88 titled Maybe Baby, playing Hal. And then he was in Hot to Trot, the movie Hot to Trot, playing Walter Sawyer in 88. He was in the movie Where the Heart Is in 1990, playing Stuart McBain. Also in 1990, he was in a movie called Short Time, playing, hear me clearly, Bert Simpson, not Bart Simpson. The Simpsons, not Bart Simpson. Don't have a cow, man. He was playing Bert Simpson in Short Time in 1990. And then he did It's Gary Shandling's Show, playing himself a couple times between 1989 and 1990. God bless Gary Shandling. What a great comedian he was. Dabney Coleman in 1990 also played Aunt Bee in Meet the Applegates. In 1991, Never Forget TV movie was a thing he acted in as William Cox. And then came Columbo. Now, in the original Columbo, he was in season 2, episode 8, Double Shock, as Detective Murray. By the way, Shane B. contacted me on Facebook and said that 9 to 5 is streaming. Let me look at that message really quickly to share that information with anyone who wants to watch that. In remembrance of Dabney Coleman, who recently passed away, Shane B. says 9 to 5 is on Amazon Prime for rent or buy. Okay, so they charge extra for it. Is that right, Shane? That sucks. I hate it when they do that because you're already paying for that service for Prime. Even though there's perks like free shipping, I think that blows. That really does. If they are indeed charging extra. Sounds like they are, if I'm interpreting correctly what you're saying. But the second Columbo, we're going to look at a little 30-second trailer from the Family Channel, 1996, that ran this 1991 movie. The second time that Dabney Coleman acted with the late, great Peter Falk on this show, or with that character of Columbo. In Columbo and the Murder of a Rock Star, and Peter Falk's real-life wife, Denise, acted in that. And she acted in more Columbo movies than any other actress. I wonder why. But he played Hugh, and he kills his cheating wife in that show. Let's go ahead and look at the trailer to that I pulled from a airing on the former Family Channel. It no longer exists anymore. It's been rebranded years ago. But I thought this was an awesome Columbo. Let's watch. Oh, it's only 18 seconds long. Let's look at this.
Tonight, Dabney Coleman makes a toast.
Hope I'm not disturbing you, lovebirds.
To the perfect murder. Columbo blows the lid off this mysterious case.
I know he killed that girl.
The Columbo Mystery Movie, tonight at 9 on the Family Channel.
So Dabney Coleman's character injected champagne bottles with a deadly poison, and he injected it into the cork. Anyway, it's a really good episode. Oh, we have some comments. Let's see. Mark Patterson says, wow, his final role was John Dutton Jr. in Yellowstone. Yes, it was on Paramount Plus. I was going to get to that, and you're absolutely correct. Let's see here. Keebler, No Sugarcoating Truth says, how come I feel like Chance would like Dad by Andrew Marshall? I've never seen it or heard of it or read it, whatever it is. Yes, I do have work in the morning. I'll just leave it at that. So I've got to roll soon because I have to be up not terribly early, but early. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this on Fistful of Radio tomorrow at 2 and preempt what I had scheduled. I didn't plan on doing a show. So let's get back on track. Or I should get back on track talking to myself here. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. As we wind down this remembrance of Dabney Coleman, who really made a big difference in pop culture history. And hell, he's immortal thanks to film and video and these interviews. And I'm trying to help preserve that tonight on my little channel, The Nostalgic PodBlast, and on this show, The Nostalgic PodBlast, which streams at 2 o'clock Eastern Time every Saturday on Fistful of Radio, and Sunday at 2 Eastern Time, Fistful of Radio in the afternoon, and then overnight, Monday night and Wednesday night on Fistful of Radio. Also, we're on Apple and Spotify. Anywhere you can find a podcast, basically, you can find The Nostalgic PodBlast, but there's always a live video component on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, in the Facebook group, The Nostalgic PodBlast, and on the X. I almost said Twitter. X. The video feed goes there, too, to The Nostalgic PodBlast on X and on Twitch. That's where you can find us. Find me, Chance Bartels, your host of The Nostalgic PodBlast. So after Columbo, wow, Dabney Coleman acted in 18 episodes of Drexel's Class from 1991 to 1992. I wish he did a Matlock. He didn't do a Matlock. I love Matlock starring Andy Griffith, the original one. And I'll give the new one a shot with Kathy Bates as Matlock this fall. In 1992, Dabney Coleman starred in There Goes the Neighborhood as Jeffrey Babbitt. He was in Lincoln in 1992, just as a voice artist. That was a TV movie. As Stephen A. Douglas. He was in Amos and Andrew as Chief Police Cecil Tolliver in 1993. Then, of course, talked about earlier, The Beverly Hillbillies, a very underrated movie. Great interpretation of that classic sitcom. And he played Mr. Drysdale, Milburn Drysdale, the banker. Reunited with Lily Tomlin from 9 to 5. And she played, hang on a second. Clifford. I forgot about Clifford, 1994. In Clifford, he played Gerald Ellis. He was in a project called Directed By. That's a TV show. That was the title, Directed By, a TV show. And he played Richard Williams for one episode in 1994. Then in 95, Kidnapped in the Line of Duty, a TV movie. He played Arthur Milo. In 1995, Dabney Coleman played Charles Mayron in Judicial Consent. And here comes another series he starred in, Madman of the People. That was a TV series in which Dabney Coleman portrayed Jack Madman Buckner for 16 episodes between 1994 and 1995. Then in 96, the year of the Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm at, Dabney Coleman portrayed Seymour Kecker in Devil's Food, a TV movie. In 97, Dabney Coleman played Joel in A Witch's Way of Love. And then in 1997, The Magic School Bus. That was a TV show in which Dabney Coleman voiced Horace Scope. Scope, like the mouthwash, Scope. The TV version of Jumanji, the hit movie starring the late, great Robin Williams, there was a TV version in which Robin Williams in 2 episodes portrayed, by voice only, a character named Ashton Phillips. In 98, there was a TV movie titled Target Earth in which Dabney Coleman portrayed Senator Ben Arnold, who was Sam's uncle. Then in the wonderful world of Disney, Dabney Coleman portrayed President Richmond in 1998 in 1 episode of The Wonderful World of Disney. In 98, same year, he played Lieutenant Kevin Stolper, Lieutenant Kevin Stolper on Exiled. Then in You've Got Mail, which someone in chat referenced earlier, I think it was Keebler Elves, he played Nelson Fox in 1998 in You've Got Mail. And Dabney Coleman in 99 played Jonathan Gallant in Giving It Up. Then he was Chief Quimby in Inspector Gadget. Talked about that earlier with Matthew Broderick. That was released in 1999. But from 97 to 1999, in 14 episodes of a show called Recess, Dabney Coleman voiced Principal Peter Prickly. And then he also was Dr. Beechwood and Stuart Little in 1999. He was in the TV movie Must Be Santa in 99, portraying Tuttle. Also in 99, Coleman was Ethan Grover in Taken. God, a lot of work for him in 99. In the year 2000, Dabney Coleman was Monsieur Fox, voice only, in Happily Ever After, Fairy Tales for Every Child. In 2000, he was John Kennedy in How to Marry a Billionaire, A Christmas Tale. That was a television movie. He reprised the role of Principal Prickly in Recess, School's Out in 2001. And then also in 2001, Dabney Coleman played Henry in Kiss My Act, which was a TV movie like Kiss My Ass, Kiss My Act. In 2001, he reprised Principal Peter Prickly in voice work for Recess Christmas, Miracle on 3rd Street. 2002, Dabney Coleman was Mac in The Climb. Also in 2002, in The Zeta Project, a TV show, Dabney Coleman voiced Dr. Boyle. He was Mike Mulcahy in Moonlight Mile in 2002. And then in 2003, Dabney Coleman was Grandpa in Where the Red Fern Grows. That's a tearjerker. That was a remake, obviously, of the classic. That and Bambi, boy, those are tough to watch when you're a kid or even an adult. Now, he was Principal Prickly once again in Recess, taking the 5th grade in 2003. And again in Recess, All Growed Down in 2003. And then he voiced Stephen A. Douglas in Freedom, A History of the U.S. in 2003. God, so many credits. The Guardian TV show, he was Burton Phelan for 67 episodes between 2001 and 2004. Then in 2005, he was Drake Bishop in Domino. He portrayed Jack Atwell and Bill Rose in 13 episodes in 2006 of Courting Alex. And then he was in Heartland in 2007, playing Dr. Bart Jacobs for 6 episodes of Heartland. And that show runs on Cozy TV, a free Diginet, free national network owned by Xfinity, Comcast, NBC, Universal. In 2007, Dabney Coleman was Spray Loomis in Hard 4. And then in 2009, he took a spin in Law and Order Special Victims Unit as Frank Hager. And then came along Boardwalk Empire, a favorite of many. 24 episodes. He was Commodore Lewis Kastner from 2010 to 2011. And then I love his versatility. Then he did more cartoon voice work in Pound Puppies from 2010 to 2011, 4 episodes. And he played the mayor, voice only. 2016, so we jumped from 2011 to 2016. He took a break for about 4 years or so. 6 years. 11 to 12, 12 to 13, 12, 5 years. Okay, he took 5 years off. Oh, I'm sorry. I copied my flock Sarah's little giggle there. I'm losing my mind. Getting punchy. I need to get some sleep. But he was in Ray Donovan as Mr. Price in 2016. And also in 2016, he was Raymond Holiday in Rules Don't Apply. Flash forward 3 years to 2019 in NCIS, in which Dabney Coleman portrayed Army Corporal John Sidney. So he was up there, in his late 80s, still acting. 2019, he played Donald in For the People in one episode of that show. Just 2 more credits left. Allie and AJ, Star Maps. That's a music video. He played himself in 2019. I need to see that. I've not seen that. And then, as Mark Patterson said in chat, one of my favorite shows, Yellowstone. John Dutton Sr. One episode of Yellowstone was Dabney Coleman's final credit. Wow. And that was from season 10. Season 2, episode 10 of Yellowstone. Sins of the Father is the title. Dabney Coleman's final credit as John Dutton Sr. Wow. Let me just look at one more article about Dabney Coleman. I'm not going to read an article in the press. I'll leave that to others to do. But wow, over 60 films and television credits, a lot of voice work. Let's see here. I don't want to be repetitive. I'm just looking for anything I haven't already mentioned. I went through his entire credit. Okay, let's see. Told you already, he was born in Austin, Texas on January 3rd, 1932. He attended Virginia Military Institute at the University of Texas at Austin. Dabney Coleman was drafted into the United States Army in 1953 and served in Europe. That's new information. Haven't talked about tonight. He was married and divorced twice. Dabney was married to Ann Courtney Harrell from 1957 to 1959, and then he was married to Jean Hale from 1961 until 1984. Dabney Coleman had 4 children, daughter Kelly, son Randy, and daughter Quincy with Jean Hale, and daughter Megan. In 1998, Dabney Coleman worked with fellow actor Bronson Pinchot at the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, North Carolina, to help protect local forests, and helped lead a campaign to educate others on how to care for and protect forests nationwide. Dabney Coleman was an avid tennis player. That's probably why he had such longevity. You have great health, great circulation if you're active in any sport, if you're running around. Tennis is very strenuous and fun. That's amazing. So I didn't know that. Dabney Coleman was an avid tennis player, winning celebrity and charity tournaments. He played mainly at the Riviera Country Club, as well as in local tournaments. His favorite sports team was the St. Louis Browns, which are now the Baltimore Orioles. Dabney Coleman died at his home in Santa Monica, California on May 16th, 2024 at the age of 92. Rest in peace. Wow. That's incredible. And I just want to mention, this is a terrible segue, but I need to get this in. I want to talk about our friends at Remind Magazine, and then we'll wrap the show. Right now is graduation time, which we're live, and you could give a graduation gift for only $12 out the door, including shipping, including postage, including tax, including everything. Shipping is postage. I just did a double negative there. Remind Magazine, and of course it's baseball season, has been for some time as we're live. Go to remindmagazine.com. Please mention the Nostalgic PodBlast when you order. For the first year, you can give this for $12. The regular price is $5, $4.99 plus tax if you go to a newsstand or Barnes & Noble. And they accept all major credit cards. And what's in it for you is this is all about nostalgia. If you're watching or listening to this program, The Nostalgic PodBlast, the chances are you are into nostalgia. Well, that's what Remind Magazine is all about. And they cater to the 1950s through the 1990s, and they have brain-teasing puzzles and games and comics. And it comes in the mail in your hand. You can take it to the bathroom if you like. It's a great magazine, full color, a lot of interviews, a lot of fun. Just go to remindmagazine.com and order right there. I mean, great birthday gift too. If you're listening past graduation time, it would make an excellent birthday gift. Keep people reading. Reading is important. Remind Magazine keeps it all alive in terms of print circulation, and I applaud them for that. And they're a big friend of the show. We're grateful to Remind Magazine. Thanks for the mutual support. So now I'm going to do a quick couple of shout outs, and then we'll have two more interviews clips with Dabney Coleman, and we'll say goodnight. Let's see here. I want to shout out classic television shows on Facebook, a huge Facebook group all about classic television. I think they're approaching 1 million members. And also on Facebook, if you're a Facebooker, please look up Steve Russo's Facebook group called The Fun World of Classic Television, 1946 to 1982. There's a lot of interesting articles on there. And he's in Boston, Massachusetts. Another good one, of course, I've talked about this earlier, Jerry Dobson, who is watching the show, or was, Nostalgia World on Facebook. That's a great nostalgia Facebook group. And he lets me run the show on his group, and I'm grateful for that, as does Steve Russo, who runs the Fun World of Classic Television, 46 to 82. Got to shout out Curtis of RetroZest and retrozest.com. That's his website. It's all things retro. He has cool items, too, for reasonable prices, like T-shirts and coffee mugs and pins. And he does incredible celebrity interviews on his show, the RetroZest podcast, which runs on Fistful of Radio after my show on the weekend, early Saturday and Sunday evening. And it also airs Wednesday evening. And you can also catch it on his own platforms at retrozest.com. Excellent content, guests, and fun. retrozest.com. And then BK on the Air, it will be on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to noon on WBHF Radio in Cartersville, Georgia, a radio station that's been around, if you can believe this, since 1946. They're on AM and FM. Barry King and Alan Sanders talk nostalgia, and they have news of the strange and the bizarre. All sorts of fun stuff. And check out the app, the WBHF app, if you want to catch past episodes. And I'm going to start, I don't know if I'm allowed to announce this yet, but I'm going to start running BK on the Air on Fistful of Radio, which is nice, out of Atlanta, Georgia. But you can, of course, catch the replays on the app and his YouTube channel, BK on the Air. Barry King, he's a great, great guy. Geek to Me Radio is a live show on YouTube Live, and it's a terrestrial radio show out of St. Louis, Missouri on a big station, KTRS. James Enstall is the host. You've probably seen his face, actually. If you go to the YouTube channel and say, wow, he looks familiar like Sarah in Southern California did, it's because he did a big national TV ad campaign for Walmart. He was the man on the street interviewing people that shopped at Walmart after shopping at a local grocery store or grocery store chain, and these people discovered they saved a lot of money at Walmart. And James Enstall was the guy interviewing these people. But his show, it's a 1-hour show Sunday night at 7 Pacific, 9 Central, and 10 Eastern time. Just 1 hour of your time is all he asks every Sunday night. And he has some big, big guests that he interviews. He had Phil Morris on, who's been in a lot of... If you look him up, he is the son of... hang on a second. Garrett Morris. No, not Garrett Morris. He was on Saturday Night Live. I know this guy. I love him. I'm a big fan of his. I must be getting, I'm not even put it out there. I must be getting brain cancer or something. Hang on a second. I know this cat. Hang on a second. Phil Morris is the son. He was in Vegas, his dad was, and The Fugitive, and a notable guest starring role. Hang on, TV show. I don't care about that movie. Hang on. The movie cast. I want the TV cast. Greg Morris. Thank you very much. I Google cheated. He had Phil Morris on, and I love Greg Morris. I can't believe I blanked on his name. That's scary. I'm getting dementia, folks. Scary. Hello, Lobo. Lobo Grease. He's in California State. And PDF Elf says, did you say Vegas? Let's go. Yeah, that was a great show starring Robert Urich and Greg Morris and Bart Braverman. And I liked that show. That was another big hit for Aaron Spelling and Leonard Goldberg. Great, great show. But hey, Phil Morris is Seinfeld. He played that great role. He had so many roles. He was in the Mission Impossible reboot, one of my favorites from 88 to 90. He filmed it in Australia. It's the best version of the Mission Impossible theme, even better than the original by Lalo Schifrin, in my opinion. I really think that's a great version of the theme. Danny Staten in South Carolina says, I love Vegas. I did too. That was a great show. And it runs sometimes on the Weigel media outlets. And it streams. I'm sure it's streaming, more importantly, on Tubi or somewhere like that. Vegas is a killer show. So another shout out, K-Pop Junkie out of Michigan State, YouTuber. She interviews comic book creators and artists. And Katie is her real first name. And hosting creative guests is her game. Her YouTube channel is spelled letter K, letter P, letter O, letter P, _ JUNKI, K-Pop Junkie. And I better start adding to my roster Sick 2021. Shane B, his YouTube channel. Sick 2210. If Shane's watching, he's probably screaming at me. I can't see the camera. Let me make sure. I want to get this right. I know I showed it earlier, but shout out to Sick 2210 Productions on YouTube. He reviews movies. I'm talking sick in a good way production values from this guy. It's amazing. The video and audio quality, it's top notch. It's professional. And look at that logo. Man, I love this shirt. I'm going to wear it on Sunday when I'm on with Open by Chance. I'm so grateful for them. Hello to David Hughes, Spencer for Hire, Robert Urich. Yeah. Robert Urich, God, he died way too young from cancer. But yeah, I thought Robert Urich was an immense talent. Heather Menzies, too. That was his woman. She was in The Sound of Music, the original, and the Logan's Run TV show and many other projects. And they were on Tattletales together several times, which they announced their engagement on Tattletales that ran on Buzzer, the Buzzer network. Buzzer took Tattletales off the air. Shame on them. I love Buzzer out of England. Fremantle Media owns Buzzer. They own the Goodson-Todman library of classic game shows, including Tattletales, and they shift things around. I get it, but I really miss Tattletales because a lot of surprising people are on that show. Waiting for the one with Deborah Winger. She was on in 77 when she was doing Wonder Woman as Wonder Woman's younger sister, Drusilla, and that's never aired since their original air dates in 1977 and not on YouTube, and waiting, and they were almost to that point, and then they took it off. But the thing about Buzzer, I'm on a tangent now, they only have so many people that convert videotape to digital, and most of the library, if not all the library, is on videotape. And so the modern technology is it's got to be digital. You got to convert the videotape to a digital format to air it. And so they've stepped it up. But what it is that what they'll do rather is they'll air a whole bunch of episodes for maybe a month or a month and a half, and then they'll run the same ones again and recycle back to older episodes. So when they get fresh episodes, it's quite exciting. So, but it takes years for them to get to the point, like to the end of the run of Tattletales, the original run. They brought it back in 83, I think, on CBS. It went off in like 78, came back in the early 80s, and you had like Meg Ryan on before she was a movie star when she was doing soap operas. Interesting people were on Tattletales, and it was very revealing. I got to get back to doing my character actor of the week. This isn't a regular PodBlast. This is in remembrance of Dabney Coleman, a special edition of the PodBlast. I didn't even plan to go live this week. But next week, I'll try to get back to featuring a character actor of the week, have some trivia, have some prizes, and have some fun. I didn't want this to be a sad remembrance of Dabney Coleman. I wanted this to be a happy one and a thorough one. I hope I wasn't too thorough. Getting back to the shout-outs, Man Cave 101 podcast on YouTube. These are great pop culture enthusiasts in terms of Marvel stuff, DC comic book stuff, and other things. And they're all black, so you get a neat perspective from their point of view. And I like seeing their point of view. And they touch on some issues too. It's just really interesting stuff. And then of course, Superman Homepage Live, a huge YouTube channel. They've been getting millions of views. They're live every Monday for 1 hour only, Monday night at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, and it's all things Superman. I missed last week, and they were featuring they're doing a series featuring the best Superman costumes, whether it's George Reeves or Christopher Reeve. And last week they did Christopher Reeve, and I missed the show. I watched the replay. It was awesome. But I'm usually there live in the chat. Superman homepage, all things Superman, if you're a super dork like me. And it's a 1-hour show. And Dave Sundstrom on YouTube. Hopefully he's going to interview me. He reached out to me for an interview. It never happened. But Dave Sundstrom's a huge YouTube channel. He talks all things pop culture. He has really excellent video pieces that I like a lot. And then Golden Rage of TV. This is my final shout out. Golden Rage of TV. Pat McCormack on YouTube. He interviews people. He's the guy I was talking about earlier that interviewed Lee Purcell during the strike. Hopefully he'll have her back now that the strike's over, where she can talk about the fun acting job she had over the years and over the decades. And she's very intelligent, very, very strong person and a great guest. And he interviewed Loretta Swit, the TV's Hot Lips. I talk about that every week. But and he's also a guitarist, and he won an Emmy Award, Daytime Emmy Award, for his work on General Hospital, for his part playing in a fictional band on General Hospital. So cool guy out in California State. Just like My Flock Sarah. Got to shout out My Flock on YouTube, of course. She's become kind of like my right hand. And we love Sarah in Southern California. She just had a birthday. Happy birthday to you. I was on her birthday live stream. Hope you had a good one. I know you did. And she just hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. She's going to be live Tuesday night, as we're live this coming Tuesday, with a big blowout party, a live blowout party. Should be a lot of fun. And Snarky, got to shout out Snarky on YouTube, and BBB, Brain Benders Banter. See, this is all from my mind, not on my, I add this to my script here. Brain Benders Banter. She has like over 35,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's awesome. And she does games and puzzles, and also Mongolian Monster. I love these two. I don't know the story. I don't know if they're a couple or just friends, but they live together. At least they're in the same studio down in Florida. And they talk about UFOs, and they talk about Bigfoot. And they're live every Tuesday and Thursday night from 9 to 11 with pretty much a hard stop at 11. They keep it to 2 hours. They don't go on and on and on like me. And then, of course, Open by Chance Toys, who will be on with me this Sunday. This is a great channel. I can't speak highly enough about them. Husband and wife team that are into pop culture. David Eon and Little Pop Hunter. They go to all these shows, film it so you feel like you're there, and then they review what they got at the shows. It's amazing 4K photography. Open by Chance on YouTube, and they're in the state of Georgia as well. Going to be honored to have them on my show Sunday, going through one of the long boxes of this collection I bought. So these will be the boxes. I'll ask someone to pick a number in the chat. I'll pick a number from 1 to 10 on Sunday at 3 Eastern here on this channel, The Nostalgic PodBlast. Sorry, listeners, it's a video-only thing. I don't convert this to audio. These unboxings, because it's all visual. I'm holding up each and every comic book in front of the camera, and we're both discovering what's in this collection that I bought from a very nice person. So Open by Chance will be here this Sunday. Please be here. If you know a comic book collector that might be into it, and I found some really great books in this collection, I think this will be worth your time. I'll try to keep it, because I don't want to waste their time, to about an hour, 90 minutes tops. I'll go really quickly. I'll get right to the chase, too, right at the beginning of the show after my little intro. So that'll be Sunday. And then tomorrow night, I may be on BBB's panel, Brain Benders Banter. There's going to be a Saturday night pop culture live chat. I'm working tomorrow on a project, so it depends on when I wrap. I don't know. So I'm hoping to be there, but if not, I'll be there the following Saturday. Her name's Chrissy, who runs Brain Benders Banter, and she's a heck of a nice lady. Very nice lady, indeed. So let's watch another clip with Dabney, as I promised. I got 2 more clips. The last one is the one that shows more clips of his movies. I was afraid. I'm never afraid, but I was concerned, let's just say, that the stream might go down, so I saved it for the very end. So let me find that. And, well, here's a 1 minute, 15-second clip, and then the very last clip is only, I think, 2 minutes. It's not long. Let's watch this one together.
Ask you to host the Saturday Night Live show, that means you're doing pretty well.
Working 9 to 5.
There I was with these 3 icons, literally icons, And me.
Oh, I'm not such a bad guy.
You're a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot.
So I have a few faults. Who doesn't? Easily one of the best 20.
Let's see, take 10.
Comedies of all time.
Mom, my name is Dorothy. It's not Tootsie or Sweetie or Honey.
Oh, Christ. More fun. Play bad guys. All I need from you is $300. A piece.
Thank you guys so much.
Can be tough. I mean, ruthless. Can you do that, Dabney? I'm Dabney Coleman. That's what I do for a living.
Rest in peace, Dabney Coleman. Now, here's the final clip.
Coleman's appeared in some of recent memory's greatest comedies, but believe it or not, he rarely knows when he's making a hit or making a flop.
Sometimes you have a lot of fun and the thing doesn't come off, and vice versa. I mean, we didn't have a lot of fun shooting Tootsie, to tell you the truth. And we didn't really have a lot of confidence that it would be as good as it was. And I mean, well into the shoot. We thought we were involved with the turkey. But Sid Pollock's responsible for bailing that thing out in the editing room, literally, more than any editor I've ever heard of.
Are you good at knowing when something is going to be successful or not when you're shooting one of these movies?
I was until Tootsie, but as I say, we thought that was a bomb, and it turned out to be, I think, one of the best comedies of the last 20 years.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you know 9 to 5 was going to be good?
No, we didn't. And we previewed it a couple of times in Dallas, in New York. All of us went down there, the cast I'm talking about, and the director. And we still couldn't get a fix on it. And I don't think the audience initially in the first two premieres had a fix on it either. It was 60-40 maybe on the positive side. But then when it got into word of mouth, into that zone, it took off.
If you ever say another word about me or make another indecent proposal, I'm going to get that gun of mine, and I'm going to change you from a rooster to a hen with one shot.
Coleman's hit another home run with his portrayal of skinflint banker Milburn Drysdale in the movie version of the Beverly Hillbillies.
I knew what was required of me to a degree, and then I knew I also had to leave a little room for myself to get in there and do my thing and to make it mine. And I think having seen it, I think I accomplished it. I hope so anyway, yeah.
Well, now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin.
It took the Hillbillies a couple of weeks to hit the top of the box office, but Coleman had faith all along.
To be corny, it's a nice movie with some nice people being the winners, and that's kind of unique right around this time.
Rest in peace, Dabney Coleman. And thanks to my moderators who put the links in the chat for K-Pop Junkie and for everybody. Let's see, Mongolian Monster. Thank you. Open by Chance. Danny Staten, I didn't shout you out, my brother. I never, he has so many channels I can't keep it straight. Oh, and of course, Corey, please link Corey's comedy channel. I can't believe, I made some new friends on YouTube. He's been so kind to me, and I love his channel. He goes live Sunday night, Corey's comedy channel, and he does magic tricks on occasion, and he interacts with people. It's a lot of fun, and he's a great, I won't say opening act, that'd be disrespectful to James Enstall, Geek to Me Radio Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. But no, Corey is a prince of a guy, really talented, and he's been more than welcoming to me. So would someone please put that link to Corey's comedy channel up? If you're still out there, Danny Staten. There it is. Thank you. And shame on me for not mentioning him sooner. I almost blew it. I would have beat myself up had I not mentioned him, and I just did. So I'm going to make notes after this. Good night, everybody. I'm going to say good night. My Flock, did you link My Flock? Damn, I got to link everybody. Very grateful for the mutual support. And let me make sure I didn't leave anything out. That's for Brandon. Out. That's how they say out in Canada. Out. And I got to get some rest. Busy day tomorrow. Hope you all have a great rest of your weekend, great week whenever you might be listening or watching. Always please go to the Nostalgic PodBlast when you can. If you're a listener and you want to see what's going on, you can see the comments I put on the screen, and you can see the comments in real time in the live replay. But you have to hit the live tab, and it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing to subscribe to the channel as well. And there we go. So All right, I think we're all set, and we'll see you Sunday for the show with Open by Chance, Sunday at 3, if you're into comic books. I'm just waiting to see if there's any other links. Danny, link yourself, bro. There's my flock. Thank you, PDF Elves. Thank you for linking Corey's comedy channel. Good night, Keebler. No sugarcoating truth. I love that. That's a YouTube channel. Got a lot of people tune in. Very grateful to everybody. Love you all, and we'll see you soon. And going to be on with Sarah Tuesday night, I think. I'm going to try my best. If there's no conflict with my scheduling, then I will be on with Sarah for her 1,000 subscriber blowout. That'll be fun. All right, now, good night.